Brimblecombe just needs to hold on. I don't think anything really can happen through this fast right hand. It's a real nasty one. Vedica. Oh, Vedica's trying to prove me wrong. The M4 is pretty weak through there, so didn't expect too much. And Brimblecombe almost loses it. That's Alice down the inside of Murphy. Oh my goodness, that's close.
Well, that is terrifying, but it is extremely exciting as well. I think that was Ashton Reynolds as well, now trying to make a move side by side through any of the section is very, very tricky. But it is, in a way, you know, Brimblecombe's position to lose, not just because he has the position, because defending, you know, if he, around this course is relatively easy for the most part. A couple of good overtaking spots, you know, obviously Druids up the hill, potentially into turn one if you're really, really brave. And then, of course, Pilgrim's Drop, if you get the run on someone, you can kind of force them out a little bit wide. But if you get a good exit off 30s, then Brimblecombe should be able to defend for a period of time. We're going to go again for this lap, and will Vedica be close enough for a send? I don't think so. He's thought better of it, wants to take the outside line to get on the accelerator a little bit early, try and just keep himself as close as possible through this turn 3, 4, 5 through Graham Hill Bend and up the Cooper Straight towards 30s. But doesn't have a great run through Graham Hill Bend, and it's probably going to be another lap with Brimblecombe ahead at this stage. Brimblecombe there, you can see, trying to sort of go with the entry to the corner that's going to give him the ability to get on the power as soon as possible, because that's really going to be his only chance to defend down Pilgrim's Drop at this stage.
I mean, while they've all been battling in quite an exciting tussle, Mia Rose out front is absolutely laughing. She's 4 seconds clear of Brimblecombe right now, and despite the fact that this their little battle has subsided, well, it's allowed Mia Rose just to run away from them.
Yes, I did also see some issues down the field. The number 111 car was involved in something. I don't know if it was their fault or not. So Tim Curran was involved in something that involved a couple of the cars. The 35 also just dropping off the back things, and Tom Kidman. Jamie Conboy in P26 at the moment, as Vedica tries the move, is just trying to force an error now out of Brimblecombe. I think Vedica's probably got an eye that he's got some additional pace if he gets a clean run. But at the moment, Brimblecombe is proving to be an excellently well-designed cork in the bottle, and keeping the rest of this battle pinned up. And that is, oh dear, okie dokie. That is the issue that I saw earlier on involving the triple one and the 35. Was that Jamie Conboy involved in that as well? I think it might have been.
Potentially, but it looks like the car in front just seemed to lose it a little bit coming out of the corner, and the car behind just could not react alone. Now we see Josh Berger trying to go around the outside. If you don't mind,
what a move! 10 out of 10. Wow.
You do not see that every day, and that is incredible. You know, Brimblecombe, all respects to him, because he did allow the space, saw the overtake and what was going to happen, but wow, the confidence you need to go around the outside of Hawthorne, that is incredible work there from Vedica. Gets the move done, will now be ahead. Brimblecombe falls now into the grasp of Murphy and Reynolds behind. Let's watch this again.
Oh, that's stunning.
Yeah, that's close. I think actually, weirdly there, I think Brimblecombe overslowed looking at the way the Porsche sort of handled that, which is what allowed Vedica just round the outside to get through. That was class act there from Vedica. Oh, here we go. Another battle. Johnson. Back of Bracken. Piper's behind as well. This is a lovely four-way battle. All different makes of cars, all different strengths of the Audi. It's proving the point. The rear end doesn't like to exist in that car sometimes. Bracken's just trying to hold off Johnson and Blair. Oh, it's going to have to let Bracken around the outside. Maybe a switchback, but no. Pulls in nicely back at a single file.
This is beautiful racing, and these four have been line astern since the start of this race. All very equal on their pace, and of course it is the battle for the top 10. Whoever gets that top 10 position, it's being that little row of fours being led by Blair at the moment. He is in line to lead us away for race 2. Doesn't need a qualifier game. We'll go straight to P1. Advance to Gosa. So that is a very critical battle for who ends up on pole position for the 40-minute race coming up after this race has concluded. That rain marker of light rain has moved to within 10 minutes. I don't know exactly when it jumped there.
No, it's with... We won't get it here.
I don't think we'll get it exactly. Yeah, so that's a bit of a shame. Maybe we can still hold on some hope, as Piper has had a little bit of a slide out of Sterling's. now going to be under pressure from car behind. I might have got myself mixed up there a little bit, but I believe that is Vettiger.
Yes, you are correct. I was Piper getting loose out of Sterling's, now under immense pressure from the Ferrari there of Vettiger. As we see a little bit of a wide moment there. That was actually Brimblecombe who went wide and allowed the other Porsche to go through. I believe that other Porsche would be Murphy, if I'm not wrong. Yes, that is Chris Murphy up in the P3 now.
Yep, indeed. And of course, Murphy and Brimblecombe are going to be fighting in this championship for the silver class victory. As it stands right now, they're on for maximum points in the silver class, P1 and P2 between them, P3 and P4 relatively, respectively in terms of the race situation. Blair, we're on board with now. It's Blair and Bracken going for it. No overly confident moves through there. They'll stay line astern. Ashley Johnson still sort of sitting in behind, waiting for his chance. He's got 6.5 minutes. And if there's any mistakes by those two up the front...
Hold on. Murphy's round. Murphy's
back going again by the looks of it, but has dropped down a fair few position. Oh, what?
Yep. Rear left hand touch the grass. Don't do that, kids. That is not a wise decision.
I have a feeling that actually started at the apex of the corner, just hitting the curb on the inside, and then just couldn't quite keep the turn in. And yeah, as you said, left rear wheel on the grass, not fun.
That's just the nature of Sheens, isn't it? You're coming up the hill and you really kind of have to have an instinct for where that curb is and where the bump on the curb is. So you've got to nail your position. You've got to have the car positioned exactly right on the left-hand side as you come up the hill and get just the right amount of turn. And yeah, you can see the car gets unsettled, and that's all she wrote for the 101.
Yeah, it's one of those ones you've just really got to nail that. If you go too fast, regardless of the bump, you are going to hit that dirt. You can save it, maybe if you're not in a Porsche, but yeah, a real nasty one there for Murphy. He was really doing well, had that podium position in his hand, and then unfortunately just a slight bit too much curb, and the Porsche suspension went boinga and said, nah, you're going to hit the dirt. And now, speaking of Porsche, Brimblecombe is under threat from Reynolds. Reynolds has been consistent the last 15 minutes, have done some beautiful racing, just keeping out of all the trouble and keeping it on the track. One to look out for in the 40-minute race course coming up as well here at Brands. It's probably more so a hidden one, is those track limit warnings. You can actually get them quite easily here if you take the wrong line, so we'll have to keep an eye out for that as well. Brimblecombe, though, not making any mistakes. Hits the curb nicely, gets the car rotated, but Reynolds, that's defence there from Brimblecombe. That needed to be done, and Reynolds around the outside. I don't think anything's going to come from this because the Porsche just holds that bit more mid-corner speed than the M4, and nicely done, but still 4 minutes to go. Anything can happen here. A bit wide from Reynolds, but that's okay. Still a few more laps to go.
Yeah, I dare say that were it not for a couple of unforced errors, and that is an unforced error there for Sean Brimblecombe, and Ashton Reynolds will most likely get him on the straight now. We're watching the battle for P10, and a little bit of contact.
That was a bit rude.
It's ended badly for Blair, off the track, losing positions, and that P10 position, which was going to be the lead position for race 2 start, that is now out of his grasp for the moment. Yeah, so couple of things happening there at 30s. Everyone just trying to get the power on as much as possible, as quickly as possible. And now Blair down into P13. Tom McDonald in P12 has picked up a 10-second penalty. 5 seconds for Blair, so actually he was going to be out of the running for that top 10 spot anyway.
Absolutely nasty one. Let's see what Brimblecombe did. Went too wide. Just held it, and I think Reynolds is going to make that look fairly easy. Does so. Just gets through nicely. Brimblecombe has to slot in behind. Scott Blair now, P13 with that 10-second penalty included. It's going to go a long way down. Bracken, I think, might have just given Blair that hip and shoulder a little bit earlier, and he's going to be carrying a bit of damage, which is certainly not ideal in a vehicle like the M4. Let's have a look at that again. But yeah, it's a tough one to tell. And if Blair called that, the stewards will have a look. So we'll keep an ear out, see if the stewards think anything of that. It was really close for both of them. It's dropped another position as well. Piper's just gotten past now. Bendai behind in, well, I mean, you always know when Bendi's on track, there's a hot pink and orange and green car. You know it's him. Bracken, though, is in the prime position, 3.3 behind Paddy Oliver. McDonald's dropped a long way back. It was 7/10 before, and it's more so, I dare say, probably a second now. So, yeah, second and a half, in fact. So maybe a bit of an error there for McDonald. That's really going to matter too much. And Bremble comes round.
Oh, Bremble is around.
Rightio. We'll look for a replay and see what happened there. But that is unideal is the word I would be using.
Yeah, Sheen takes another victim, and it just happens to be another Porsche. Porsche's just pushing a little bit too much through that corner. That's really cost him a lot. Where will he drop down to, though? That's the question, because, you know, if you end up P9, that's not necessarily the end of the world when it comes to race 2.
Identical.
Followed Reynolds, but Reynolds isn't in a Porsche. That's the unfair and true difference there, is the Porsche has garbage suspension. I mean, the M-Force isn't much better, but, you know, ignore that.
Pretty much identical to the incident that Murphy had as that BMW behind. That was McDonald. He got so loose coming out of Druids. Was very lucky to keep it pointed in a straight line. But what that has done now is that has potentially allowed Piper to potentially take our reverse grid pole, because Johnston, McDonald, and Blair all have 10-second penalties.
Yeah, if you Piper, you're rubbing your hands together, but I don't think Piper's going to have it. I reckon it could be someone more so like Bendi, or even, probably Bendi almost, I'd say, would have it. Although I can't maths, so yes, you're right, it's Piper. Ignore me, I can't maths.
Congratulations, Hobbs.
Thank you. For half a second I thought McDonald was P10, but I can't read.
If it helps at all, I have no expectations for mathematical ability for anyone who comes onto the comms box. So
good.
Yeah, I learned long ago to learn my standards around maths, because my own is completely hopeless, and I also have that problem of not being able to read. But yeah, Bracken elevated up into P9 because Brimblecombe is now down in P20, so out of the running. We'll have to qualify again. Best they can do will be a P11 in the next qualifying session, which only runs, I believe, for 8 minutes. It's shortened qualifying as well. Bracken, now that's basically all said and done, will start P2 at this stage. Piper P10, so we'll start P1. And actually, you know, with Chris Murphy, I mean, this has gone a lot worse for Brimblecombe than it has Murphy. Murphy will end up in the P5 position, I believe, whereas Brimblecombe will have to go and qualify again.
Murphy should be starting P5 at this stage, unless he manages to get past Lowe into P5 in this race, which means he'd start P6. But we'll have to take a look at things. But what that has done is it allows Breno Ellis to take what should be a silver class victory in this first race, as we'll watch Mia Rose cross the line to win the 20-minute super sprint race here at Brands Hatch for round 1 of Split Blue. Vediger comes home in P2 with a pretty solid race. So we have side by side now between Begg and Bracken. Will Bracken try and Aguilar's position? There's the rain coming down. And these drivers are going to have to deal with some slippery conditions as they finish up this race. And it will be Begg in P8, Bracken P9. And after penalties, it will be Piper in P10 and your reverse grid pole position.
Last man on the road is Steve Lewis, who had that incident earlier on. So he and 4 or 5 others will be experiencing green track conditions rapidly, I suspect, moving towards
Holy moly.
Wow, the rain really has come in quite quickly. To no issue for most out there. It looks like they're all going to hang on just fine. I mean, we won't be seeing pools of water anytime soon. But yeah, what a fascinating way to end race 1 right there.
I mean, I was taking the piss about rain on the last lap, but oh dear.
Well,
what could have
been? Yeah, so you're right.
It is England. It is England.
Yeah, I can attest to the changeable nature of the weather conditions, which is just too rain everywhere in England. So, you know. And coming across the line, one of the last out there will be actually the 111 car. Corinne will finish up a race for us, and we immediately go back to dry racing conditions. And qualifying 2 begins now.
Boring.
I know, it's just... Yeah, what's up with this server? Come on.
This is very un-UK-like weather.
I thought that my commentary specialty was bringing the rain, and so far I have not done my job.
I mean, someone
Not
still
good
wants to run with the Lamborghini there, still has the wipers on, as does Brimblecombe.
And 8 minutes of qualifying we have now. So the top 10 who finished in the race beforehand will not re-qualify. They will start in reverse grid order. P1, that's Mia Rose, will go to P10. P10, that was Piper, will go to the lead of this race. They don't have to qualify. So really what you're watching here is the battle for P11 and down. And this man right here, Sean Brimblecombe, will be very, very eager to get himself into P11. One of the interesting things about being in P11 is that you essentially start behind the fast drivers. That could mean in some cases that you're able to follow through the fastest car from the previous race, and maybe follow them through on a few moves and sort of be brought up the grid just a little bit. And that'll be what Brimblecombe, I suspect, will be thinking about doing, but has to qualify P11 first.
Can we make a P11 pole award?
No. No, we can't do that. Interestingly, though, if it is Brimblecombe on P11, he's in a really good spot because the way the ACC works, of course, is whoever's P1 in quali, the game will start the race when they get to the line. So you actually have those top 10 drivers across the line, most of them at least, before the lights go green. And Brimblecombe will know when it's going to go green. So you might have that little bit of an advantage on the drivers, maybe on the start. So I'm actually keen to keep an eye on that if you can get that P11 pole.
That is the timing line there, so everyone else will be starting still in the uphill just before the corner, won't they? So there's no real disadvantage for the top 10. On board we go with Brimblecombe for his first flying lap. That was not the most safe way to navigate the exit of the first corner, Paddock Hill. Looks pretty calm, cool, and collected through Graham Hill. Through the Cooper Straight we go. The old circuit, of course, veering off to the right. Now here with the modern GP track. That's wide, though. That's a bit wide.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a really wide one. He's certainly... he's Pit Viper CEO, according to his livery. Well, he's the CEO of going wide at the moment. That's, I reckon, about the third time I've seen him do that in the last 20 minutes. But he's still... I mean, he's been really fast, so I think he's still looking for the top of that. It's only fast track. Oh, that's wide too. That would probably almost be invalid. That's a real nasty corner, that one, I find as well. He's got to get that absolutely right. You don't want to have too much speed on the car, but then you want to have too little, and it's all just a mishmash of a nightmare, that corner.
And that is invalid. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, he needs to find that Goldilocks speed, and yeah, as you can see, red time, that is very much invalid, and that is not going to be a great start to this next lap going onto the grass on the exit of the final corner. But to continue onwards anyways, as there is very much limited time in this session. Running through turn 1 there now, just looking at McDonald, who is invalid on this attempt, but is currently the fastest with a 24.577. Johnston goes P2, just under 2/10 behind McDonald for 24.757. Got Ash Vediger, then Lewis, Horsburgh, Spenceley, and Reed.
Yes, and on board we go with the Aston Martin of Ashley Johnston. He's finding time already. Let's see how this car handles through this course. That's a little bit of a moment there, just trying to get the power down as early as possible, of course. I think I've come up with an idea for CEO now. I think it's Chief Exit Offender.
Whoa.
I feel like that's what's been happening. That was a moment there. Still gained a little bit of time, losing it on the straight, of course, though. So they'll go back down into the 2/10 of range. Hawthorne, let's go through here. Safe as you could be. Maybe a little conservative through there. Did find some time, so was more conservative on his previous fast lap. That's why that's invalid. Yep.
Just
very tricky when you start to run wide, isn't it? Because the car does get unsettled, and then, you know, it's a couple of centimeters, really.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's a couple of centimeters in Steve Lewis's lap there, just losing a little bit of time. Didn't want to leave the car round. There's an Aston ahead. It's just backing up. I think that's Johnson waiting to do probably 2 more hot laps if they've got the fuel. So Lewis is going to come through. It's going to bring him up a bit, almost, I reckon, to say P2, P3 area, which would be a really good achievement. Yeah, P3, only 300ths off McDonald there. Vedica currently in the lead. Bendai as well as half a second up. laps. We'll keep an eye on board with him around the final corner, or we won't. That's okay. He's just going to, you'll see his name pop up in the leaderboards in a minute. Johnson, going to try again though. Valdad last up, there's Ben Dye just behind the man we're on board with as well, with 2.5 minutes to go here in qualifying. Nice wide line, and then tightens it up. Doesn't go too wide on the exit. Nicely done. Get a bit of a bounce on the curb there, but the Aston can handle that. No real issues at all. Down the straight now, coming up to probably one of the trickiest corners, I think, on this track, because you keep that mid-corner speed up, but get the car turned in and make sure you don't go wide on exit. It's a real nasty one if you get it wrong. Nice use of the curb there. Make sure to keep it valid. Oh, that was on the edge of the limits there. That was almost perfecto there as Brimblecombe trying to prove a point. Oh, goes 8/10 up. This is going to be a mega lap, probably into the 23s, I dare say, and it will be 23.910. But Johnson wasn't far off that. Oh, it's going to be close, but one more lap each.
What's the exit going to be like for Johnson? It's good enough. He's going to put himself into professional P1 for the moment, and it will be a 23.812 for Ashley Johnston. We've got a fight on here.
That is stunning work. Jamie Comboy, of course, who we didn't see much of in the first race, now qualifying to see if he can find himself up in that P11 spot. He's another contender, found 2 tenths already, and that's going to gain him some more time, surprisingly. But he is pushing it to the absolute limit, that McLaren. A car that I love to drive around this circuit. I'm probably a bit crazy, but it is what it is. 1 minute left on the clock, 4 tenths up now for Jamie Comboy. Now, this is not going to be good enough so far. He's going to have to find another 3 or 4 tenths. He's found one. He's going to go into the final corner. Into Clark Curve we go. Can he find another couple? He's found one. He's found 2, but it is very wide. Yeah.
Trying to take the F1 esports line through these corners is not going to help him. But still into the 23s by the skin of his teeth. 23.995 as... Oh, car 33 disqualified by race control. Car 33.
That's Lee Perkins.
Yeah, that is Perkins. Oh dear, that is and McDonald's jumped up into P2.
There you go.
Was that from the first race? Or was that from?
Is this are we talking qualification?
It'll be this call. I'd say it'll be this quali most likely.
I'd say so.
As just saw McDonald jump into P2, not far off of the time of Johnston. Johnston's done, by the way, so it's all up to Brimblecombe, Lewis, or Comboy really here.
There's 200ths of a second between Ashley and Tom at the moment. Brimblecombe's another 10th down from that. Oh dear, oh dear. This is on the limit from JC.
Wow. Yeah, this is close, but if JC, the fire coming out, it's got a 10th here. He's still got, I reckon, 2 tenths coming onto the straight, so if he can nail that. Oh, a bit too much curb, JC. What are you doing? Half a tenth up. I reckon he's got a 10th here, so if he can pull the 2 tenths out here that he needs, much nicer line this time. Can, of course, run wide. Oh, yes. I think he might have this. Just... Oh, is that secret? Yes, he does. Wow. That was close. Wow.
JC's gone and done it. Nice lap there. And yeah, it was all about that final corner, wasn't it? I mean, he knew how much time he lost there and just really needed to focus on not losing too much time through the full lap that he did beforehand. And that was on the limit, though. I mean, throwing up Sheens, and you see the McLaren using that downshift to try and keep the rotation, keep the front end in, and just slow it down that little bit. Just kind of like, oh, that's wide, and that's not going to be an improvement there for Reed up in P9 at the moment. That'll translate to P20 on the grid, and it is 0 time, of course. So there'll be the final people across the line. I don't see anyone else improving, and that is your second qualifying done. And we have an interesting format here for how we start these second races, don't we? Because of the reverse grid. Who wants to take us through that race start procedure? Oh, I'm hearing very quiet noises here. So
we don't want to get it wrong. That's why.
Yes.
Very true.
Well, I mean, from what I'm aware, we'll have the top 10 reverse. So Mia Rose, who won the previous race, will start from P10, and the driver who finished P10, who was, I believe, the Audi there of Piper, will start from P1. So the race control in the Discord will call up the numbers one by one of the reverse top 10. Once they have lined up successfully, that will be when the rest of the grid in their order roll off, and then we'll get this formation lap underway for real.
Yes, we have to put our the silence and then the disclaimer. It was inevitable. Someone was going to have to put the disclaimer up. Sorry, we're just commentators. We might get it wrong, but that is exactly right as far as I understand it. And then it was an interesting point from you, Mitch, as well, that P11, of course, who will be Jamie Conboy, as soon as he goes across the line, that's when the race will start. And that means that maybe it is a little bit of an advantage for P11. They'll know a little bit better around the timings of when the race will start, and the top 10 will have to kind of just wait for the green flag lights to go, which I think most people are used to, but yeah, it could mix things up a little bit at the top 10. I'm interested to see how Piper holds on. Of course, you got Mia and Vediger as well. Fast contenders coming up from P10, P9. I think I was the only one who had the prediction for the race win was Mia Rose, I think, ish. So we can make some more predictions to see what's happening, but it's always hard to call with a reverse grid.
Yeah, it's always a tough one. Bowen will commentators curse Brimblecombe again.
Yeah.
Or
Yes.
another commentator's curse. So I think you're on a real roll here tonight, Alexis. So good luck with that. It's going to be a tough one, I think, for the drivers that are in that reverse top 10, especially those, probably the front three, I dare say, especially when the lights go green. They're probably not going to be far off that right-hander into turn one, which is a real nasty one, especially just in general, regardless of being a little bit further past the line than you normally would be. So we'll have to keep an eye out maybe for any incidents there or through into turn two as well, as the drivers just drop down, get their strategy sorted. 20 degrees ambient, 26 on track with an optimum track and no rain. Well, that's boring.
Oh dear. Well,
Boo.
all of our work that we've done in the background to get the rain going, all of the bribes we've given to the race directors and admins, all for nothing. My day is ruined.
My disappointment is immeasurable, and my day is ruined.
Precisely. There are no pit stops for the session, as the grid will start to sort itself out now. The race director will be giving instructions to those on the grid. No mandatory pit stops, 40-minute race, so obviously you put just enough fuel in. One set of tires, you don't need any more than that. There is still an element of conservative racing that needs to be done here, especially if you're a faster driver catching your way back up the grid. So obviously we don't want to see any yellow flags. We want to see nice, clean overtakes, but you have to be a little bit patient. We are back towards the sort of right length of race, up towards the 60 minutes, or closer to. So you do have to be a little bit conservative. It is a sprint race, but 40 minutes, you don't want to be, causing an accident, getting a penalty, in those first few minutes of the race, or throughout the entire race, I should really say. You want to just be safe, sound, cool, and calm and collected. Wait for your opportunity. Generally, if there's a slower driver ahead of you, they're more likely to make a mistake at some point. Wait for the opportunity. Is that the strategy here for this kind of race?
Probably not a bad mentality to take into this one. Like, there is 40 minutes that they've got to make those sort of overtakes. It's just, when you got to execute them, can't really go for every single little opportunity you've got. Otherwise, you're probably going to end up in an accident of some kind.
So we will see how everyone does do throughout this race. It's going to be a fascinating one. And then, of course, little housekeeping item as well. You're watching Octane Online Racing. It is the opening of Season 17, 7 rounds of racing ahead of us. If you are keen to get involved, and we have an Academy Series running. We have the Duo Series, which is just coming to its conclusion. Of course, our Endurance Series 2, with lots of awesome racing guides and tutorials and everything, and really helpful, awesome people and a great community. So jump into our Discord as well. You can find us at octaneonlineracing.com.au. And, of course, this is the Simrigs Sprint Series. So for those of you who are a Patreon of Octane Online Racing, you do get a discount at the simrigs.com store. So definitely have a little think about that. Simrigs do great work, and of course that discount's always nice to have. Side by side we line up now for the beginning of race 2, 40 minutes of racing ahead of us to conclude the first round of the Season 17 split blue here, split red coming up afterwards, and I'm more than happy to let someone take us away for race 2.
Ooh, this is going to be very exciting. Looking forward to this one. To see Grant Big getting right up behind Piper there, looking to just put a little bit of pressure on even before the start. Say, yo, I'm here. I'm ready for turn 1. Got Pat Oliver on the outside as well. So enough to keep an eye on as we come around. Going to be a delayed start, of course, with P11 being the one that is actually starting the race, which of course this one is JC. So we'll wait for those lights to go green here at Brands Hatch for 40 minutes of non-stop racing. We go green here. That's a really great start from Piper. Grant Beggs just going to take it up the inside to Bracken there. Force him out wide. That's a good, nice line. 2 wide, 3 wide even at the back there. Hopefully not a lot of impact on anyone. Nicely through turn 2. Just keep it nice and consistent. No incidents yet, please. Thank you. As Grant Begg looks around the outside of Bracken again. I think Bracken's going to hold this one, though, because Begg's going to be forced to a really nasty line onto the straight. And hit him. Yep, there comes a penalty that way. But we'll continue on anyway. Stewards will look into that as Piper takes full advantage. That's Murphy as well coming through. Everyone's coming through. I saw Mia Rose there. Vediger's through there. Everyone's coming through. Don't even know where to look at the moment. Oh, there's a Lambo a little bit further back as Mia Rose looking down the inside of Ellis. Oliver's on the list as well. Got Begg in front. Oh, this has been a spicy first lap.
And what a first lap for Mia Rose. I mean, up from P10 all the way to P5 in a matter of corners. Of course, we have a yellow at the back there. That's Steve Lewis, 959 again.
Not again, not Steve.
Yeah, so I don't know what's happened, but he has run into some sort of issue behind there as we look at Sterling's, one of my favourite corners. I absolutely love the feel of Sterling's. Mia Rose, yeah, on a real charge right now. Ooh. A little bit wide, though. That's not going to help her in her battle with Breno Ellis, who's in behind. Another Lamborghini, 2 Lamborghinis in a row. Pat Oliver, the lead Lamborghini at the moment. Piper out to a good lead. Chris Murphy just holding on at the moment, but nearly a second gap out to Piper. And Piper can continue to extend. Let's have a little look at this. This was the entry. Yeah, it's just brake deep.
Yeah,
nothing Begg could do there.
No, probably nothing Begg could have done. So maybe the stewards will play that one on, but you did push Bracken off track. So leave that to the stewards and they'll tell us if we're right or wrong. As we see Reynolds at the moment on the back of Ellis. Just probably wants to get past. Had a good battle earlier for a podium position. Can Reynolds do it again? I reckon he can. Reynolds is a very experienced driver here and always been in the Sprint Series for many, many seasons now, and just nice to see him out on track as we do every season. Oh, and Mia Rose, oh my goodness, what a save. That's Alonso-esque there almost from the Shanghai Grand Prix. Holy moly.
Oh, that put my heart in my throat, as did Alonso in the Chinese Grand Prix.
Dirt,
look at that.
Ooh!
No, before.
She lost it mid-corner and
the dirt
ran wide.
Yeah.
The dirt just added style. Let's put it that way.
That's right, yeah.
Kudos.
Yeah, hats off for controlling a move like that. I think many drivers out there in a similar situation might have had the car doing a bit of a 720, getting 1,000 points on Tony Hawk's Pro Skater game in the doing so. Fastest lap goes to Mia Rose at the moment. We're looking at Pat Oliver, who's currently a bit of a bottleneck at the moment. Murphy is caught up to the back of Piper, so there's a battle going on for P1 right now. And Pat Oliver is leading us away in this battle here for P3. Begg, Rose, and Ellis behind him, and then Ashton Reynolds. Convoy has jumped up a couple of positions. He's now up to P9. Ashley Johnson has followed all the way through. I think it might have been Brimblecombe and Tom McDonald. They've dropped down just a little bit, P12 and P13 for them, with Eshan Lel in P11 in the number 8 car, who we remember fondly from race 1. Dual camera now watching these two battles, the battle for P3 on your left and the battle for P1 on your right.
Definitely a little bit going on here. Begg trying to hold off the fast charging Mia Rose. And so far he's doing a fairly good job of it, although I think it's only a matter of time before she manages to get past the Monster Energy BMW. Both the Monster Energy BMW and the Rosie Lamborghini. Very pretty, very stunning liveries on those two cars.
Oh yeah, here we go.
Mia's going to go full aggressive. She's going to do everything she can. She might even just switch the nose to the inside here. Oh, didn't like I expected. But Chris Murphy, as we see on the right-hand side, trying to get past Piper, or just at least put the pressure on. And Mia's trying to do the same on Begg. And Begg goes wide. This will be Mia's opportunity. Can't get the exit, maybe. Just needs bit more patience, and she does, but Beggs just hit the curb and a little bit wide. Pulls it up nicely, though. It's got Oliver ahead. Begg is in a really nasty spot. Mia is in the perfect spot. She'll be able to hold off Alice behind. No real issues at all. But she wants to get past Begg, I dare say, as quickly as possible.
It was a good exit for Piper through Surtees, but and Mia definitely got a good exit as well. But you can see the power of that Lamborghini, and it's got the slipstream ahead, of course. So yeah, the slipstream for the 21 for Begg was pretty powerful with Pat Oliver ahead. So a BMW sandwich going on right now here in this battle. 123.9 already on the board for Mia. It is in optimum conditions, so we know that the drivers can go a little bit faster if they had clean air, but this is the problem, and all that is Pat Oliver nearly dying on the exit of Sterling's. Does manage to keep it on the road. There is a yellow flag in the background. Pat Oliver goes very, very deep. Begg might be looking for opportunity at the inside.
Yeah, this is going to have to be it. She's going to go for this, and Grant now needs to give way. Yeah, I think he needs to. Yeah, that's the smart decision. Just let Mia go. Let Mia fight with Pat. As Begg almost loses it through turn 1. That would have been a nasty one. Begg just, sneaks the nose in there. And I think this is, unfortunately, I think maybe Begg's just cooked the tyres a little bit there. As Mia, oh my goodness, goes wide. She's really trying to push. We have a look at Pat Oliver on the exit. Oh my goodness, that was close. And Mia almost followed suit, but kept the car in a straight line. That is close.
Cars really aren't looking that settled at the minute. Like, you can see it even there with Begg coming out of the last corner. It just can't get the traction down in the BMW, so they're really struggling with the tyres at the minute.
Oh, still so close.
Oh, Murphy, very wide. Everyone's dropping tyres onto the exit of Hawthorne Bend. No one wants clean tyres for the upcoming section through Westfield and Dingle through Sheens. And I don't know, maybe that's why we're not seeing the maximum grip out there. Everyone's dropping their tyres onto the dirt, and so they're just carrying dirt around the track. And there's a possible explanation. It is 26 degrees track temperature and optimum conditions, sunny out there, so I don't see why they'd be low on grip based on those things, other than maybe their tyre temps or their pressures are slightly off.
Yeah, I think with the curb usage you get here, Mia's going to go for this. Maybe look around the outside, or maybe a switchback. Just try and put the pressure on Pat, and they do so. Yeah, look up the inside of turn 2, I reckon. Oh, no. Pat's defending nicely, though. Just placing the car almost in the middle of the track, which then turns in for turn 2 to the apex. So, trying to keep an eye on Mia. Oh, she's going to have to sneak this one up, isn't she? Oh, no. Just scaring Pat, though. He's very good at just timing the moves right, and she's doing that nicely here. Just doesn't want to cause any issues, just sneaking it in as well, and Begg's just waiting maybe for something to happen here. Alice as well, Reynolds combo all in this. It's not a good spot, for Pat Oliver now for a podium position. Bad exit from the M4 behind, but can Mia just pull something out of the hat here? A little bit wide there from Pat, so Mia might have the exit. Oh, touches the grass, and this is where that pressure loss that I was going to talk about may come in if you're hitting the curbs hard, and Mia's almost lost this. Where do we... English, what words?
Well, at the back you can see there's a little bit of side-by-side action going on there, and there's a car off the road. That is the... yeah, that would be the Lamborghini. Oh,
yeah, I think it's Reynolds too.
Yeah, Ellison Reynolds.
Yeah, I think Reynolds was looking very optimistic for an overtake. I was about to say as well, through that section, there might be times where you think you can do an overtake, but the road just says no. The track just says no at that stage through the end of Sector 2 and into Sector 3. I just think it's one of those times where you have to execute a little bit of patience. There's other places to focus on the overtakes. I reckon Mia probably could have sent it the previous lap here, but, it's sensible to back out, and Pat sort of, in a way, gave her the inside line, but and then also gave room, but Mia was thinking, oh, the door's going to shut, and then it didn't. But I think the erring on the side of caution here for Mia was the right thing to do, because if that door does close, well, then, yeah, you're both going into a pretty awful situation. And, well, it was actually Reynolds going off, but that is Breno Ellis, who was the one who went way off on that quarter, so not ideal for Ellis there. P9 currently for Ellis.
I think what Mia is just doing is she's playing the long game. These two have now caught right up to the back of the lead battle with Piper and Murphy, so this is really just Mia holding on, hoping that they fight with each other and capitalizing on any sort of mistake that either of these three make. She's playing a very, very smart game right now, as we see Bracken picks up a 10-second penalty, presumably for that start incident with the contact between himself and what was, I believe,
Beg.
Brand Beg.
yeah, Beg.
Yeah, we don't have rain here today at Split Blue, but we do have a four-way battle for the lead, and I do like
Oh,
that.
this is close. Where's this going to go? I think maybe me and my... Yep.
Oh,
I
yeah.
just took the words right out of my...
Oh, yeah.
That was a nasty one. I think Murphy did the right thing there, and I don't think Paddy Oliver just gave just enough room. It's minor margins there for Pat, but unfortunately, I think that was unavoidable for him. Mia was just in the wrong spot, and Murphy came back on trying to look for the track that he wanted, and that's what happens.
It looks like there was a little bit of contact with the rear for Murphy. He got slightly sideways in the corner, a little bit of tap from Pat.
There was a tap from Oliver behind, I think, so
Yeah.
I think it may have been a bit of a self-punishment there from Paddy Oliver. He's dropped way down. You'll get a replay of it. You'll just see coming out of the call, gets a really nice run. There's just a little bit of a tap there, and then
Yep. There's nothing that Pat could have done there. I think Murphy did the right thing, tried to hold the line, and then came back on track looking for his line, and just Pat was there, and Mia was behind Pat, and yeah, that's a real nasty one, unfortunately, for Pat. And I'm sure the stewards will review that, but not too sure if anything will come out of Pat's incident, but he might get maybe a slight pen for that tap on Murphy. But speaking of Murphy, back to him. Turn one again. Piper's gone a little bit wide. We'll have a look from Begg's point of view. Oh, and I think that may even be Reynolds behind, trying to look through as well. And Reynolds has gotten through on Begg. As Murphy looks the inside, looks to the outside, and back around the outside of turn three. Going to get pushed wide. Mia, this is exactly what Mia wants. She's actually tapped the brakes for a second.
Don't make it three wide.
Don't make it 3 wide. Straight.
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh no!
Yeah. Oh no!
It was inevitable. It was inevitable. Something was going to happen when that became 3 wide.
Yes, it was.
Mia, of course, laid on the brakes as she wanted to go in, but oh dear. Well, that's Jamie Comboy there. We've got Begg involved as well. I think Comboy's just gone up ahead, or is I think that's right. Then Murphy. And then Bracken with a 10-second penalty. Yeah, I mean, 3 wide through there. Mia tried to brake late, got in front of the other 2 cars, but of course, Piper was coming through, and he had sort of almost a switcheroo. Let's see it again. Contact between Murphy and Piper, and then it's just through in the back. I mean, it was inevitable.
Yeah, that's certainly probably not the best decision in terms of race car from either of the 3 drivers there, to be quite
and Murphy's
no, Murphy's put in the wall again.
Just too wide out of the final corner.
Don't do that, people.
Look at Jamie Comboy now.
Oh, Reynolds into the lead from Piper, and Comboy may look for a podium position here on Piper if he can get something done. So this is really nicely played from Comboy, making full advantage.
Oh, Comboy!
Don't do that to me, JC. That was close. Making that P11 pole worthwhile up into P3. Let's see what happened to Chris Murphy. Dirt in the left rear. Yep. And wall. Yep.
Bit of a bonk.
Yeah, there's probably about, I reckon, 5 seconds, 10 seconds of damage down in front of that car, so that will not be ideal for the next 26 minutes of this race.
Yeah, we've switched out. Battle for the top. Battle between 4 cars for P1. The only car surviving through that interaction was Piper. Has lost the position, of course, but this is rapidly turning into a 6-way fight, because here comes Ellis, and here comes Vettiger, who's got the fastest lap at the moment.
Ooh, this is going to be exciting.
Nice.
Correction on that, actually. It's Bracken and Ellis, sorry, in the back of this thing here. There, so I think Vettiger is about 2nd behind her, but I mean, he's got the fastest lap. I expect this now to be a 7-way battle.
He'll be there.
Yeah,
absolutely. He will definitely come up out of that. As we see JC's coming up nicely on Piper again. Oh, a bit of a mistake there from Beg behind. That's probably going to let Bracken through. If I was these drivers, I'd almost be inclined to let Bracken through with that 10-second penalty if you reckon you can hold that for the next 25 minutes. As JC goes for a really tight line through turn 1. That is not probably the most ideal line again. And Beg goes wide. I reckon got a bit fooled by JC's line there. Looking to the outside. Oh, that M4's all over the place. Piper doing everything in the power. Oh.
think JC's in his head right now because Piper is offline in every corner. JC's really putting the psychological pressure on. Does break deep there to get the line better. Power on early. You can see the car complaining. Doesn't want to put the power down. Does get it down eventually. He's going to be under pressure, though, from that BMW behind. Double slipstream for Beg.
The longer he stays behind Piper, the longer that Reynolds has to break away from this pack. He's already 2.5 seconds clear of the Audi of Piper. This is getting into critical territory here for Jamie Conboy in the Pixel Races entry. Tries to look up the inside, more just trying to spook Piper into any sort of mistake. He knows, Jamie Conboy, that Piper is not going to be an easy competitor to pass, but Piper does just run a little bit wide, and there's the Porsche there of Bracken who goes off and is spun around there at Clearways, but will stay on board this battle. Conboy, what's his exit like coming out of the final corner? It's not too bad, but Audi in a straight line will be pretty solo. Conboy is looking to the inside. He's going to take that tight line again, try and maximize the exit where possible against Piper, and he's going to have a dive up the inside of Druids. No, he's just going to scare Piper once again, but that's going to put him to the outside, so he's going to have to really push this one if he wants it. And there's contact between the two of them. Now Beg has a look, but he has to back out of it. Now Piper runs wide, and that allows Conboy up the inside finally, and Conboy moves up into P2 and has now got clear road, but does he? Piper might get the exit. Conboy super loose again, that McLaren, but he's got the position and now has 3.5 seconds between himself and the lead of this race.
I'll tell you, if he did not mash the accelerator on the exit of 30s there, he would have been behind Piper at the end of it.
That's nicely done from Vedica, just down the inside of Ellis through the lovely fast right-hander there. And now Vedica is setting sights on Beg. Beg setting sights on Piper, so there's a lot. There's a yellow flag, car 22 is around, that's Olifman. Just around now after turn 3, so hopefully nothing too bad's gone on there. We'll get a replay of that in just a moment. This is a nice line of 5 cars. Reynolds 3.6 ahead at the moment. JC's going to try and track that one down. Beg currently P4, fighting for P3. Let's see what happened to Olifman. And yep, dirt on the right rear this time. They just love getting dirt on the rear tyres and spinning. That's welcome to brands.
Yeah, it's hard to tell where you are on the exit sometimes of Graham Hill. It really is. And if you're 1 centimetre, hold on, yeah, here we go. Beg on Piper. He's got the space. He's got the road.
Yeah, nice move.
Stunning. That is out of the textbook, page 1.
Yeah, that is almost perfect. I'd almost call that the move of the night so far. That was just perfection there. Textbook. Nice respect from both drivers. Beg pulled it up perfectly and got through on the exit. So that is 10 out of 10.
That's a very big claim, because we did see that massive move from Vedica around the outside of Brimacombe earlier, but I'd be inclined to agree with you on that one, because as you said, that was just super clean, and now Vedica is trying to get past Piper, who's just starting to fall back a little bit in this race. Wonder if there's just that little bit of front damage with the contact with Rose. It wouldn't be much, but it may make the handling of what's already quite a loose car all that much worse. As now Vedica with a beautiful run up the inside of Sterling's, and he should get it done on the exit, but here comes Ellis as well. He's going to try and go around the outside the final corner, but can't do it. He's going to have to try and maximize his exit and find somewhere else to go through. But either way, that is Vedica up into P4 and Beg up into P3 with, as we said, fantastic move.
There we go, spicy. Yep.
P9 was wrong with it, and it's got people behind with penalties, so no one ahead's got penalties at this point in time. Of course, that can still change. She's trying to get past Johnston at the moment. Has got the man with not very much luck in this second race here. Chris Murphy just up ahead as well. Alice not too far up the road either, as Rose is looking for a way around. Might look to the inside here and just take a slightly... No, just backs out of it. Some good racing, maybe just looking for that better exit if she can get that. But now JC, it's only lost a tenth to Reynolds in the past 2 laps, so that's a pretty good run. It's got 1.5 to Beg. Beg's got 1.1 to Vedica. He needs to try and pull that gap out. Vedica will be absolutely pushing that M4 at the moment.
I would say Mia's got a little bit of caution, extra caution in 30s now after what's happened earlier. And that's a sideways car, whoever that was. Someone was sideways there on the camera one. I'm not quite sure who that was, but Impressive moves. I would argue, I'm just going to go quickly back to, oh dear, here we go. Ellis has run wide.
Oh,
Through
no.
goes Piper, through goes Murphy, won't run it around the outside. No, might try to switch back. Doesn't get the power down particularly effectively, so Ellis will hold on to P6 for now. I would argue that the overtake we saw there was probably better than Vediger's, mainly because it didn't look like Bendik was really fighting the position through there, braked early and was sort of backing out of it, whereas Piper was, you know, trying to defend in that situation, but both of them got through the corner beautifully and cleanly, and I've only had... Here we go.
Oh, that was
Ashley's had a problem.
risky one. Oh, that's... Yeah, I wasn't expecting that. I think...
Oh,
Oh,
no.
Oh, wow, great reactions from the Q2 cars in front, seeing that one happen. Can someone just never remind Chris Murphy of this race again?
Yeah. I think we'll send him a piece of plywood so he can touch that before the next race as well.
Brad's
Because he has had...
quite
Yeah.
close.
Yeah, and we're going to see it again. And, you know, Ashley was trying to go deep on the brakes.
Ooh.
But Murphy had nowhere to go. He had Ellis in front. Ellis had slowed down quite a lot. He had to brake. And in a way, kind of reminds me of another thing that happened at the Chinese Grand Prix that I will not name for now for everyone's sake.
Yes.
Except it wasn't under a safety car. Anyway, I digress. Miro's still holding on to the fastest lap, up in the P7 now on quite the charge back after the incident early on. 3 wide we had with her.
Oh, that's going to cut it back a little bit though. Miro's just going a bit
Yes,
wide there.
As I was saying, a good fight back and decides to drive off the road. Maybe not a conscious decision, nonetheless. We're on the board with a battle between Vediger and Beg. This is currently for P3, so Beg and the Monster Energy BMW up ahead. Into Paddock Hill Bend we go. Not well, it's BMW versus BMW, so it's pretty much even Stevens, unless there's a really big send here from Vediger. A little bit wide there, just trying to close off the exit a little bit was Beg, but sort of positioning in the middle of the road. Into Graham Hill Bend we go. Nothing really about it at the moment. Vediger's just going to have to wait and be patient until there is either a mistake or a better opportunity, maybe into Druids next time, or he's just going to send it.
Yep. Yeah, I think that was just a little bit of impatience there from Vediger. I think he's going to pull this one off. I personally think he might have been able to pull it off on the straight here without needing to go for that inside, but Beg's going to hold the inside. Is Vediger going to pull this off again? I'm inclined to think not. Oh, hits the dirt though. He's going to keep it there. Beg's going to be on the not ideal line through here. That's going to be too much. Oh my goodness. Let's just keep it on the track, lads.
Right now,
Well,
Beg's putting up a stout defense.
Well, I have to say, it's, you know, through this section, the inside line is always going to be easier to defend. Like, overtaking around the outside is so difficult. Have another try again. To the right, to the left, to the right again, or to the left again, I should say, and side by side around the final corner. Will there be enough room given? Yes, Beg does give the room. This will be the outside line for Vediger as we head into Paddock Hill Bend once again. Beg's got plenty of space in front of him, though, so don't see that being a problem.
That was a bit deep from Beg. I don't think he planned to do that, but that's
yeah.
certainly one. There you go. Johnson's getting the penalty for that tap on Murphy. I think honestly, if you Beg here, I know it's a podium position, but you could try and work with Vediger a little bit. Use that slipstream of him, just push each other up to maybe that P2 position if they can. As we see, Mia Rose trying to use the slipstream nicely. He's past Ellis now. He's got Piper in her sights for a top 5.
Neil Wood has had a problem down the grid. Number 600, he's gone yellow, so he's lost about 5 positions from that. Steve Lewis will go up into P15. Trying to claw his way back up from yet another incident-filled race for him. This is a bit closer now for Vediger, but I think, yeah, as you said, they do need to work together if they want to improve their positions at all. If I'm Beg here, I probably am just going to continue to fight as much as possible. 16 minutes on the clock, P3, and if you've got Vediger making all sorts of moves off the racing line to try and force an error, if you just hold on the racing line, go defensive, should be in a reasonably good spot. Here's the 600, and oh, that's a curb.
Ooh, that's a curb. Yeah.
And the barrier? No.
No. Here we go. Vediger, I was wondering about that inside line, and I think if you Beg here, you just need to back off. He's not your fight. I know they're in the same class, but he's just in a class of his own at the moment, and does back off, goes for a slightly modified line. And I think, might even have to put, that was a very aggressive move there from, yeah. I wondered that if Vediger doesn't stay ahead, I think the stewards might ask him to give that one back. Vinegar stays ahead, so that's okay. I had a feeling if Begg had gotten through there, I reckon they would have asked him to give that back to Vinegar, but held their position.
And then, of course, you can see in the background, only 1.5 seconds down the road, sideways, a little bit sideways there for Monster Energy car. That's Mia Rose. So she'll be joining the fray momentarily as well, I suspect. And that'll be another contender for Begg to try and defend against. So he may have his P4 position under threat as well. See how this works out. But this is, I think, to your point earlier, if they had worked together a little bit more, they might have been able to stay out of reach of Mia just for that little bit longer. It may not have mattered with 15 minutes remaining on the clock. We, of course, know how fast Mia is, and she was contending for P1, potentially in this race, even starting in P10. So obviously got the pace, and we know how good Mia is in the car. So on your camera too, you're seeing the battle down the bottom, not down the bottom, but midway through the grid. This is P15, P14, P13, and that's also happening. I did also see Sean Brimblecombe have a little bit of an issue as well, drop down to P19 somewhere near Stirling's, so probably Sheen's.
I think this is going to be close here. I'm suspecting a move here from Rose on this lap on Begg. Just the tyres dropping off a little bit on that M4, and Rose is really on it here. So I think you'll find Rose probably just stick the nose in. Begg probably won't put up too much of a fight unless he holds his line. But yeah, Rose just trying to follow Begg's going to get the slipstream, gets a much better exit. I think you'll see the move here done and dusted pretty quickly.
We shall see as Mia Rose looks to the outside. Don't think she's going to get it done now, but it is going to compromise the run. She is going to give it a try.
Oh, that's... Oh, hello. That was... I think she'll be on the blower about that one.
A bit optimistic, I would say.
Yeah, I agree, but I think looking at the rules, the car could have potentially been there close enough. So, oh, here we go, Brimblecombe. That's Bracken, I think, as well. And Brimblecombe really doesn't like. Oh, that's a massive hit. Yeah, flappy bonnet moment there for Brimblecombe. That is not an ideal way to have his evening end after this first 20-minute race, and now we're in here with 13 minutes left in this 40-minute race before we move on to split red. And Rose down the inside, just hit a bit too much of the curb, may not get the run, might stick the nose out though. Doesn't. Begg trying to just go for that later apex, isn't going to get it pulled up though, and still gets a nice exit though, so maybe can hold Mia off another lap or two before Mia sort of reads the lines that he's taking. Look at I don't like the sea of red on that leaderboard though.
There's a lot of penalties that have been handed out this race, and you know, I guess there isn't a much of a difference from the point of view of driving, you know, attitude or you know, intentions in a 40-minute race, maybe compared to a 20-minute race. I mean, I think we've all experienced that. Something about Sheen's though is an anti-Porsche corner. It just seems to be that way, from what I can tell. Sheen's just doesn't like Porsches. And Porsches don't like their drivers, so it just all comes to blows. Opportunity here maybe for Mia. Oh, deep on the brakes. She's been very good on the brakes into Stirling's, just using a lot of trail braking into there. Don't actually need to brake too much because, of course, you've got that sort of dip in towards the corners. You can let the car's aero sort of take care of most of the deacceleration. Begg's just trying to sort of go onto the inside line as much as possible, maybe trying to break a slipstream, but Mia's still going to be in tow, very much so. Into Paddock Hill we go. Once again, very good on the brakes from Mia, and this could be an opportunity for her. Will she set up the inside? Begg's in the middle of the road, no opportunity. Outside line.
Switch back, here we come. No, Rose to 6. Oh, goes a little bit. Whoa, that would have been close. Holy moly, that would have been a code brown there for Mia Rose. Goes a little bit wide. The tyres probably not particularly happy after that one, and I have a feeling she may not be particularly happy either. As you just see her there in the rearview mirrors of Grant Begg, just trying to stick the car in a spot that will allow her to get past. Vediger's got 6.5 to Convoy. Convoy's got 4.2 to Reynolds, so Reynolds is looking like he's got that under control at the moment. Oh, Begg goes very wide, and I think this is going to be providing that opportunity for Mia. Oh my goodness, that's very close.
There's a yellow flag ahead.
Oh, there's a yellow flag.
Off the road, so
went straight past 463. It's a car that's been lapped. This is so close at the moment. Mia can't quite get the car on the straight, can get the car under braking, of course, because the Lamborghini has that engine braking nicely set in the engine maps. But just can't quite get that M4 on the straight. It's got a good run though, but of course here comes the M4. So what do we know? It's all over the place.
The Monster Energy is providing quite the boost for Grant Begg at the moment, as Mia Rose does gain a lot in the braking zone, but just can't seem to find an avenue through. That BMW just seems to have enough grunt to hold off the Lamborghini for the moment. But Mia Rose is really attacking Grant Begg here. And that's a little bit wide from Begg as well, so it might provide the opportunity for Rose up the inside of the next corner, and she drives it.
She's had enough. Yep.
Oh, contact. You hate to see that. You really do.
Yeah, that was not ideal. Stewards have a look into that, and now Begg is going to get passed by Ellis. I think Begg needs to give this one in. He'll have hot tyres, and I reckon he'll lose it around this next corner if he tries to hold it with Ellis. And there's a tap there. Ooh, I think that was
negotiated.
They have. Whether that was enough for pushing off track, don't know, but nicely held from Begg considering the incident with Rose. So stewards can have a look at that one, and we'll have another look on the replay. Oh, ooh, that's almost. I reckon you could almost put that on Begg on the basis of the turning in. The Lambo was there enough on the inside, so.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say as well that
stewards will bring that on him. We'll have a look.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, Mia, she went deep into the braking zone. She was definitely side by side, and you saw Begg had to sort of. He wasn't initially aware that move was coming. It was a move that was done very, very quickly, and had he realised, then he would have been, have a little bit more time and mental bandwidth to actually give some more space there. But it did happen very, very quickly. And I was going to say before as well, Begg was just doing well to put the car on the line that it needed to be and really preventing Mia from doing any overtaking. But yeah, we'll go again. Mia will go up into P4, still holding the fastest lap. The 115 car.
Yeah, let's have a look.
Scanlon.
Oh, yep, the exit. Bam.
Hello, Grass, my old friend, is the situation there at Sterling's. And yep, centimeters in it if you want to maximize the speed around that part of the circuit. So yeah, Begg will have to just soldier on at this point, and yeah, I think if I was in this,
10 seconds for Rose.
There we go. That penalty being applied almost immediately by the stewards. They didn't have to think about that much, did they?
Yeah, no, they didn't. It's tough one, I think, even maybe for the stewards to call, but they just decided that Mia may have just gone a bit late. As speaking of dives, Johnson was looking maybe just to put the nose in there, put the pressure on, and just can't quite make it work. But holding position for now, 7 minutes to go.
Yeah, Johnson's done reasonably well this race, I would say. I think he started in P12 behind Jamie Comboy. So now being up to P7, well, there's been a bit of carnage around, of course, Chris Murphy. And, Ashley Johnson, of course, holding that penalty for the contact with Murphy, just sort of exacerbating some of the luck that has not gone the way of Chris Murphy in this race. Bracken in behind in P10. Then it's Murphy, then it's Piper. So Piper's gone from P1 to P8 at the moment, but at the very least does not hold a penalty. I think that's one of 7 cars in the top 10 that do not currently have a penalty. And this is kind of the way that these reverse grids go sometimes. There's a little bit of eagerness going on from the faster drivers. I mean, we saw 3 wide into 30s. That's a move, maybe, for Ellis. Trying to look on the inside. Begg's going to have to give him room, but runs a bit wide as well. That's a slip back into the slipstream behind the rear bumper of that Monster Energy BMW for the time being. And, big slide through Jeans there for the Aston Martin. Does manage to hold it up and, nearly went to the back of Ellis. So that would have been the second car that he would have potentially gone to the back of. So we'll replay that. Yeah, Ellis was slow in. Was still looking for a move, and then massive moment there for Ashley Johnston, but luckily does not cause any further contact and gets the car wrangled back onto the tarmac under control successfully. 5 minutes now on the clock for the last race here. 2 races, of course, in this sprint event for the round 1 here at Brands Hatch. And We've got lots more racing ahead for you tonight, so stay tuned, of course. Jamie Conboy currently in P2. But leading the way, it is Ashton Reynolds, and he is 5.7 seconds to the good of Jamie Conboy, and running away with us at the moment for the lead of this race. Then it's Joshua Vediger in P3, then Mia Rose with a 10-second penalty. She's got 5 seconds back to Grant Begg, so Begg might get the P4 position back by default, unless Ellis wants to say something about that in the last 5 minutes.
See what happens. I mean, Mia Rose will be wanting to break as far clear of Grant Begg as humanly possible here, and she's well up to the task, that's for sure. It's just whether she can build up an extra gap of 4.3 seconds. We see the 889 go off the road there. That would be Lindsay Muddle further back in the field.
Oh, that's
That was
an interesting position to put yourself in.
Yeah.
At 30s. I guess if you just open up the quarter a little bit too wide on the brakes, well, there is a bit of grass there, so you run the rear tyres over that, you will find yourself exactly where that Porsche found himself. Ellis still putting a lot of pressure on Begg at the moment. Through Druids we go, now down towards Graham Hill Bend. The Lamborghini just does not have the run off the off the exits that the BMW has, and I think that was part of the hold-up that Begg was able to put on Mia Rose. The BMW, for whatever reason, is just getting out of the corners better.
getting out, has to be getting out of the corners pretty well right now, because there is now 3.3 seconds between Grant Begg being in P4 and Mia Rose being in P4.
Wow,
that's
she's
3
put on
seconds.
a lot of time. Yeah, that last lap was like 1.2 seconds, the difference.
Yeah,
And at this stage, that would probably be enough.
Well, and then you're in the position of defending as well, so Begg's going to have to be slightly further offline. He's looking in his rear vision mirror as well. Yes, he is cleaner ahead of him, but, you know, the 17 Lamborghini of Ellis is continuing to put on this pressure. In terms of the rest of the split, right now what you're watching is actually the battle for Silver Class lead in behind Begg. Begg is, of course, a pro category driver this season, because we know how good he is. So Ellis is currently leading Silver Championship with Ashley Johnson in the background, but the gap back to Murphy is only 2.5 seconds, or 2 seconds or so. So Ashley, even if he gets up ahead of Ellis, won't be winning Silver category. It will be either Ellis or Murphy, depending on what happens. At this stage, Ellis is in for a Silver Championship win, with Murphy in P2, Ashley in P4, I believe, because Piper is only a second behind Murphy. So Ashley's probably a little bit frustrated in here as well, because if he's a little bit further clear than these, he might have had the same situation as Mia up there. Pro-Am lead at the moment, Ashley Vediger down in P13, and I'm not sure where our AM class runners are at the moment. They're a little bit further down the grid, so maybe we'll see that. We'll see that at the timing screens at the end of the race in 2 minutes' time. But that is our Pro-Am leader right there, the 175 Ferrari, with Ashley Vediger behind the wheel.
Oh, we just had a yellow flag on the front straightaway. That was the 367 there of Parkin. So Parkin is parked up on the side of the road, but has managed to get back on the way again.
Yeah, 2 laps left in this one. Ooh, is 2 laps going to be enough for Mia to get that 10-second gap she needs? I'm not sure.
Yes.
Oh, 8 point. Is it though? She only
Yes.
pulled, yes. Okay.
2 laps. If she's doing it at a second a lap, then yes. If she
Yes.
doesn't put in those good laps, then no.
I mean, on the past few laps, it has been, what, about a second a lap.
Oh, so last lap there for Mia was a 1:23.7. Last lap for Begg was a 1:24.6. So even if she keeps up that pace of 0.9, it's going to happen. Ellis making a move, no, just
what, 6 tenths
in a text sector. Yeah, that's going to be made pretty easy.
I mean, that's just unbelievable pace there from Rose, really.
Well,
she got the penalty and just decided to go ham with it.
Yeah, I can't remember when Mia did get the fastest lap. It's a 1:23.3.
Oh.
She did. I don't think it was in the later stages of the race. I think it was about halfway through. It was sometime just after her incident. that she set the fastest lap. So it was holding damage and with not particularly low fuel either. On the last lap we go now. So Ashton Reynolds has started his final lap of the race. These three here will come across the line in just a few moments as well, but with 25 seconds on the clock, that is going to be the checkered flag out, or the white flag, signaling the last lap of this race. And the checkered flag will be out in about a minute's time. With it's all but set in stone at this stage. Ashton Reynolds, 8 seconds to good to Jamie Conboy, will be most likely taking the lead of this race. Conboy there going through Graham Hill Bend with a blue flag bit of traffic in behind him. There is Joshua Vedica P3 at the moment, and then Mia Rose. Now the gap is now 10 seconds exactly. At least on my lapping sheet, it's 10 seconds. So she is now clear. She's clear of Beg. Still needs to have a good lap here. Can't drop any time. Needs to still be in the 23s. But at this stage, Mia for P4, Grant Begg for P5, maybe. Let's see what
I don't think
in the last
so.
lap. Oh dear.
Yep,
As the words came out of my mouth.
Yeah, I think Ellis has just preserved those tyres beautifully, and I think he's going to make Begg. Yeah, around the outside. Oh, that was a bit generous there from Ellis. I would have held that around the outside, forced Begg to give you the racing room. Through this final sector they come. That was very, very close. Is Begg going to hold on to this? Just needs to hold it for 3 more corners. That's a lot of curb. As Reynolds comes across the line for P1.
Ellis has dropped back.
Ellis has dropped back. A bit of an issue. Yeah, hit the dirt. So that's going to allow Johnston through. That's exactly what Begg needed. Mia Rose comes across the line for a guaranteed P4 with that 10-second penalty as well. And then we'll see Begg come across the line. Great racing from everyone.
Agreed. And, you know, the puns continue. We had Lachlan parking things up. Well, we've had Grant Begg begging for a bit of relief, and he's just got it there on the last lap and a couple of corners before the end of this race. Across the line, he'll go P6 to Ashley Johnston. That'll drop him down, though, even though he's now behind Brenna Ellis. Ellis will be elevated up into the silver class win. Silver P2 will go to Chris Murphy. P7 overall for him, I believe, just looking at the gaps there. Piper will take, I think, P3 in silver class, so Ashley will drop down to P4 in silver class and be P9 overall. And then rounding out the top 10, it will be Sam Bracken. That's your top 10. Bendick not in sight at the moment, and Brimblecombe also having a bit of a shock at this race. But yeah, congratulations to the top 3, Ashlyn, Jamie, and Joshua. Good race, and commiserations to those who've had not the best time at Brands Hatch for Split Blue, but these things happen.
I mean, the way the race order shaped up didn't really end the way that we sort of expected. We expected a lot of the ones who were in that back end of the top 10 who were fast in the first race to be right up the front, but they ended up falling into some incidents. As we take a look at the results for your first race, and in that first race it was Mia Rose who was the winner with the fastest lap, with Vediga and Reynolds P2 and P3. In your silver class for the first race, you had Murphy, then Piper and Benjich. Pro-Am class, it was Lel, Perkins, and the other Vediga, the Ashley variety. The Am class, it was Ellis and Frushtuck.
Well, Ellis is silver class, so, but yes.
Yes, well, yeah.
Thank you, entry list. And of course, race 2 here, Ashton Reynolds from Conboy from Vediga, top 3 in the pro class for silver. It is going to be, I believe, Ellis, even though he's not going to be on this board here. It'll be Ellis, Murphy, and Piper taking things out. Pro-Am will be Ashley Vediga, Lee Perkins, and Reed. And then for the Am class, I think only 1 or 2 in here, sorry. Frustuck and Brooker. And I don't think Brooker was actually involved in this race. So for whatever reason, we'll take a sort of a P2 of a kind. But that's going to be it. So... chaps, been a pleasure being in the comms box with you. Final thoughts before we hand it over to the Split Blood crew.
Good racing overall. Unfortunate for those couple of drivers that had a bit of a rough one, but I think it's a solid split of racing. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens in red.
Yes, it was very, very good racing. A couple of incidents in that one, but, you know, very, very good racing overall and thoroughly entertaining.
Couldn't agree more. So that was round 1 for Split Blue, the start of season 17. 6 more rounds ahead, and next week we head out to Misano, I believe it is. Yes, it is. So for now, that's a big thanks from myself, George Cook, Mitch Hobbs, and Alexis Bowen. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Been a pleasure being in the comms box with you. As always, looking forward to next round as well. And now we get the pleasure to hand over to the Split Red comms team in Daniel Skidluna and Neil Haynes. So we will leave it there. Thank you very much, and we'll leave you with the capable hands of the Split Red team.
Thank you very much there, Cook. Welcome everybody to what I have to say is an absolutely stacked grid for Split Blood here. I'm just looking at the entry list here, and just the pro class is enough to make your mouth water. This is going to be a fantastic split, not only for this race but this entire season. What do you think about it, Neil?
Oh yeah, we'll definitely be seeing some sensational racing with the, as you said, the pro lineup is something special, and we saw many of these drivers running pretty hard last season as well, so there'll be a few scores to be settled, I would imagine, and what a better time to do it here at round 1 at Brands Hatch.
Yeah, an absolutely classic of a track to get to start the season off. Of course, part of the F1 season from all the way up until I think the 80s, like the late 80s. Correct me on that if you guys can. But yeah, a very fast flowing track, and is set to, always, I mean, we've seen what Split Blue can do. Oh, Split Green, Split Blue can do. Split Blue can do, that rolls off the tongue nicely. But yeah, so we should get very much the same.
Yeah, definitely. Like you said, Daniel, this is a real old school sort of Formula One circuit that they did run back in the late 80s. And, not much of concrete on the runoffs. It's all grass. So this is not very wise to get too wide on this circuit. As we did see at the end there at the Split Blue, when car chasing there for position 4 or 5, I think it was, ran wide. And you can't keep on the throttle, otherwise the car will over rotate and take you somewhere spinning towards the barriers here.
Yeah, very unfortunate for some of the drivers that experienced that. But if we take a look at the qualifying board here, apparently the top 3 were all separated by 1/10 of a second. So yeah, very, very tight margins. And Split Red is basically pretty much showing up as advertised, being probably one of the closest splits we have had in some time.
Yes, we also welcome Jamie on board too. Welcome, Jamie.
Daniel, Neil, hello, how are you?
Very good this Thursday evening after Anzac Day.
Me too. Yeah, a bit disappointed in today's football result, just quietly. But, I mean, if you had told me we weren't going to lose to Collingwood, I would have taken it. And then my race went okay. I missed the first race and then did all right in the second race. How did you go? I know, Neil, you raced. Daniel, did you race in blue?
I did not race. I'm not going to be racing this season. This was kind of a last-minute commentator kind of sign-up thing. So, yeah, but I won't be racing this season as I've got, work commitments and fly in, fly out, all that stuff. So, yeah.
Yeah, fair.
Taking a season off.
What about yourself, Neil? Look at that Bentley livery on PJ. That is terrible. Look at that. Look at me just.
What is that?
One of the things we are definitely going to really enjoy some of these liveries. There's always some classics. We always had the spandex Lambo last season, I should say. And we'll see what else we've got here. As it looks like we're just about to hit the start here. But yeah, just to answer your question, Jamie, I'm not currently running in the Sprint Series, but obviously doing the Duo Series here with OOR. And obviously on Saturday this weekend, looking forward to the final round at Laguna Seca.
Right, I must have been looking at a different Neil then. 2 Bentleys on the front row. Lucas Keys putting it on pole. How about the Bentley being OP? That's good of them. And then a Ferrari there, and another Aston. A couple of very interesting liveries here. I'm not sure about some of these. Goodness gracious, that's Keckers there in P3.
Yes, actually, that's a Matchbox Travel rug.
We all had that rug, didn't we? It looks like the Game of Life might be there too on the front. I don't know what's going on. There's a couple of little interesting bits and pieces there.
Yeah,
very
cool.
colourful on the left-hand side of the grid, guys.
He's ran with that livery many a times before. So Cooley, we can always expect that, as we see Ricciuti always in the Italian flag inspired Lambo. We're going up to Sweet there with Izon and Johnson there in the lone, not the lone Porsche, rounding up the top 10.
Yeah, it looks like a tight grid here for this first sprint race that we're going to have here for the split blood, as people like to say. I like to call it split red. I think there's no blood out here other than very boiling blood, you could say, I guess, with some of these drivers. They really get amongst it.
It has been notorious in the past for incidents, safety cars, early safety cars, double safety cars. I think it holds the record for the most safety cars in a race split red, so I understand why it's got the name, but I think we should see a cleaner split red this season, and I'm excited for that. There's a lot of really fast drivers in here, but they're also pretty high quality drivers. So there's a couple of fast drivers in other splits who don't quite have the racecraft, but that's not the case here in red. These guys are experienced and fast.
I was going to say, we just passed that Kovacs race in Lambo as well a couple of cars ago. It really reminded me of like the Hulk or something. So a green Lambo that we saw of Kovacs. They always bring out some nice cars each season.
You mentioned Kovacs. There are a lot of Kovacs drivers in this split too. This is almost split Kovacs.
Yeah, pretty much.
Stu Matthews is a couple of cars back there, and then there's a couple of bright ones towards the pack here too. So very, very pretty grid.
As JWTF, we know what that's there, but Jay on Twitch is saying those Bentleys are hard to look at with the those jelly beans or what they are on the second.
They are
P2 there.
Traffic cones.
Traffic cones. There
Traffic
we go.
cones and Pepes. Are they Pepes? I actually don't know how to pronounce that word. Peeps.
Pepes, yeah, we'll take Pepes. Yeah,
Sorry.
I was gonna say, like, I remember seeing it was a Ferrari, I believe, that had just a little Pepe at the front. So I was just like, what is OOR's like obsession with Pepe? I don't know. I've never really got it, but you know, if you want to go with Pepe, that's all up to you, I guess.
Now, did we lose a car up the front that we were looking at with the Matchbox travel rug, or was that a little bit further down?
No, that was Keckley P3, you're right, and he's not there. Very well spotted from... Oh, there he is. No, he's in P4, so he's just hanging around in P4 for some reason. You know, he's supposed to be P3 on the grid, but he's just sort of dropped back for this formation lap, but he's still there, hasn't disconnected. That's good news.
So nerves early on as they get these warm up here. As we know, the track is fairly narrow, and it is sort of like a one line. You can get two cars through, but you need the two cars to obviously give a little bit of room and allow those cars to get through nicely. Always like the opening corner, Paddock Hill Bend, to make sure that we can keep all the cars on the track.
Just noticed there's a few more Bentleys down the grid too. This is actually a very popular choice this season, the Bentley. Has it been? I don't know much about the BOP, and I hate to open that can of worms, but it's look, Peach and Lucas Keys, very, very fast drivers in any car.
Well, I'm taking a look at the attendance sheet, and there's only 4 Bentleys. Well, I say only, but there's 4 Bentleys on the grid. So yeah, all Bentleys just decided to show up as we are going to the start. Who wants to take it away?
That'd be me. Absolutely. I'm back. Let's go. I've been looking forward to calling this one, so I'm going to do that. Page on the left there in that bloody awful Pepe livery, and Keys on the inside for turn 1. They will lead us away for split red, round 1. Brands Hatch, let's go. Very exciting. Optimum track, 19 degrees. Peak conditions.
I think we've lost Jamie for a little bit there as green flag, and we're Wayne Racing, and it looks like there's a bit of kerfuffle in the second row of the grid as we see a few cars coming off there in the back. There's a few cars there, but Lucas Keys makes a brilliant start as we take a look at going through Druids. There's a lot of kerfuffle at the back. Oh, there's 2 cars, 3 cars around, and is there going to be a safety car already? We'll have to find out, but it looks like Sonicus made a brilliant start, and he leads them. No, sorry, Keys, my bad. Keys still made a brilliant start as they make their way up to Hawthorns. It is Keys, Samuel, Sonicus, Sang, Sweet, and Cooley making not that great of a start, unfortunately.
A little bit clumsy there up at Druids there at the back of the grid, but looks like they've all got themselves... Oh, there's a car exit stage left. Very fast. Going through Hawthorns.
Sorry about that. Seemed to have my mic back now. That is Page out there in the sand. I'm not sure what he's doing on the beach, but he's dropping back a couple of positions now. What's that? P4, P5. Looks to be under pressure from Sang now. No, Sang's gotten past him, I reckon. So that might be the BMW of Corey Sweet. Or is that Sweet in front of the orange one? I'm not sure. The BMW's 2 in a row there. Anyway, Page continuing to drop back. I'm not sure if he's got a problem. Someone's going to have to call in from Kovacs and find out what's going on there. Because not like him to be falling back at the start of a race.
Well, I think he's just ran a bit wide there. I believe it was at Sterling Bend. Sorry, at Sheen Curve, I should say. And yeah, as we take a look at the replay here, this is further back in the pack. Number 95 entry has just had an unfortunate coming together, which I believe that was with Huatama in the Ferrari, in the blue Ferrari there. And as I was alluding to earlier, Sonic is just unfortunately having a little bit of a wide moment at Sheen and went from 3rd now all the way down to 6th place, unfortunately.
So an eventful start, that's for sure. With only a 20-minute race, you've really got to get this first race right, set yourself up for that second race. And as you said before, there's a couple of drivers who have fallen back, but Lucas Keys has stamped his authority on these opening couple of laps. He is 2 seconds clear of Shady Samuel already, with Sang, Sweet, Cooley making up the top 5. Lucas Keys puts in the purple lap nice and early. And back here, we're watching Rashidi go about his business.
Front of the grid as well is nice and clear, so obviously Keys opening up very early, but we'll see how they all go now after the second lap here. If we can see a purple coming down through as Samuel answers that course straight away.
Yeah, nice lap from Shady, putting in the purple. He's cut that gap from 2 seconds to 1 second on that lap, so that's very quick. Addy in the Kovacs garage saying Peach can't get his tyres up. He's in the 25s and the 26s. That's pretty low. So that's what he's struggling with at the moment. Currently back in P6 with a second gap to Ison behind him. So he'll hopefully settle in there and sort those tyres out. Meanwhile, Shady Samuel here with the purple lap. We're watching him trundle around in front of Sang. As we get a replay of the 37 car touching a bit of sand on the exit of the last corner and coming across the track, holding the brakes.
Unfortunately, that was Ricky Satria, who was running very, very well for a silver and just drops it, unfortunately, at Clark Curve there. So we head back to the front of the pack. Shady Samuel with that purple lap, but so we can see Sang just inching ever closer to the back of that Ferrari.
Yeah, Sang also, I believe he took the championship in the previous series as well, so he's back again. And obviously Shady needs to be on his best driving performance here. We've Sang right behind him because very good steerer in that BMW.
As we can see, I believe Sonicus has gotten those Bentley tyres up and running, and he's about to put on a bit of a challenge here for Cooley here, as well. Cooley might have a bit of a run here on
Sweet.
On the guy in front, on Sweet, sorry, yeah. So a bit of a three-way battle here as Cooley's looking up the inside, thinks better of it though, as he keeps 5th place.
Yeah, it's a good little overtaking opportunity, that corner up there. Cooley just sticking his nose in and letting Sweet know that he's there. And if you can sort of get the other driver offline, you've got a nice long straight down here to get your work done. But Corey Sweet, a seasoned veteran, wasn't buying any of that, just kept himself on his line and said, no, Cooley, not today. Not this lap anyway. He's got to work a bit harder than that, that's for sure.
Yeah, he's got the fast Bentley too. That's now got his tyres back up into pressure by the looks of things. So Sonicus looks like he's going to make things a little bit hard for these guys too. So it's going to be a nice, spicy little three-way battle for a little while between these three.
Cooley there, unfortunately, not getting the best of starts. Not the starts that he was used to last season, as he was a bit of a Verstappen in last season's races. Would normally get to the front and stay in front. So it's a bit of a challenge for him, but I reckon he'll be up to the plate.
Who was he racing against last season? I didn't catch much of the action last season, unfortunately. Did he have the caliber of driver that he's up against here? As you said before, Sang very, very fast, and obviously Peach is a multiple split winner. Lucas Keys is very, very fast. Shady Samuel as well. There's a lot of really strong drivers in this split, so I'm not sure who Keckers was up against last season. You said there was the Verstappen out the front by himself, you said?
Yeah, I believe it was, I believe he was up against Sasha Death and maybe some of the other Kovacs drivers. I'm not too sure on that, but as we look in the present now, as Cooley's still biding his time, Sonic is also biding his time. This is a great 3-car pack here, as we've kind of just abandoned the battle for second here, as this is a great battle for 4th place.
Yeah, the Aston looks like he's fast in a few little sections. Just has to check up a little bit with the BMW on entry. And we can just see if he can try and get the nose down the inside. He probably won't do it obviously here at Paddock Hill Bend, but let's see if he can do it up at Druids at the hairpin, if he can get a good run out of here.
Looks like they've all just settled into their race pace a little bit here. There's not a lot of action happening. I think Keckers he's made a couple of little dips up on Corey Sweet earlier on, but now I think he's just happy to sit behind here and bide his time, see if he can maybe push Corey Sweet into a mistake at some point, but he's certainly not showing the nose like he was before. But as I said before, Corey's done a lot of this, so I don't see him making too many mistakes. Might be up to the Aston and the Aston power if he's going to get past the BMW. BMW heavily bopped here, so it's carrying a little bit extra weight.
Yeah, I believe the Bentley's actually got a little bit of weight reduction as well, about 20 kilos or something I might have seen on a graphic somewhere, so Bentley enjoying a little bit of less weight.
Back here in on camera 1, yeah. So that Mike Reel having a little play up the inside of McCall. He gets that move done. Nice work. And they're chasing around Pete Viney in that green Porsche up there. So those three all having a bit of a ding-dong as well. Nearly halfway through race 1 here, and it has really settled down, and no safety car. So, yeah, good start from Split Red. Sorry,
yeah,
Split.
The BMW just ran a little bit wide. He's also in heavy defensive mode at the moment there on camera 2. He's really starting to, I don't know, he's not slowing down. They're not losing too much, I think, from the battle for second at the moment, but obviously Julie can get through here. I might see him just extend this pull away from the BMW a little bit. The defensive move now, it was just BMW's making sure he's holding that inside down the run, down the Pilgrim's drop.
Tell you what, Sweet is soaking up all the pressure here, and you know, we all know that Cooley is a very, very, very fast operator, and he looks to take on his opponents very, very quickly and dispose of them very quickly. So yeah, Sweet just picking his marks and just giving him no opportunities to pass here, as we see still the battle on for second is still tight as ever.
Yeah, and all this time Lucas is just enjoying seeing these battles behind him, because that's just giving him that freedom, a bit of breath of fresh air, not having anyone on the back of his car.
Yeah, Sweet's got he's got the car in all the right places here. It's going to take something like a blue flag, and I don't see any of those being a problem in this race with only 9 minutes to go. So, you know, Cooley can dive. Oh, he's gone a little bit wide there, Keckers, and Pease just said, hang on, there's a little mistake I might have a little look at, but the Bentley just doesn't quite have it on the Aston, I would suggest. So Cooley making a bit of a mistake, but managing to recover, and that just allows Sweet to cruise on up the road a little bit. The battle for P10, the reverse grid pole, looks like it could have something to it. The Bartlett, Johnson, all around about the Bushel area. So those three there might be something to check on in the last couple of minutes anyway, just to see how they're going for that reverse grid pole. But at the moment it is Lucas Keys up the front. He is still 2 seconds clear of Shady, who's got Sang for company. And then this battle here, Sweet Cooley, Senekis. It has really settled down here in Split Red.
Yeah, other than the usual first lap melee, Split Red has been surprisingly tame. So we're all here just hyping it up and all that, but yeah, I can see the second race, the top 10 reverse grid, embracing a little bit of chaos here. So yeah, stay tuned for that, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. I still think, as we know, 8.5 minutes still to go, and there's still plenty of racing here to happen. And I think we're not over with this position for 4th place that Corey's still holding, so that can be changed up at a blink of an eye. So we'll just keep an eye on that action in their small screen as we're looking at Bushell here holding that P10 at the moment, which will reverse him onto pole position for race 2 here tonight.
We'll say Bartlett in the Bentley looking ever so menacing. Coming up to Hawthorns, just had a little bit of a look, trying to fill the mirrors. But nothing doing, still 7.5 minutes to go. And, well, we'll have to keep tabs on those battles, as you're saying there, JC. But, yeah, should be a fun one to the end.
We just need a car behind Sonica so we can really have a look at that graphic, the face staring back at the drivers. It's something impressive there.
Just get on the front nose cam and just get right up and close to Sonic. Sonic is just rear, and you just see a face of, I don't even know who that guy is, to be honest. But yeah, it'd just be great.
Cooley's been going so fast in the last couple of laps that he's had his livery stripped off his car.
That's exactly right.
He's taking the Alpine weight measure. Oh, here we go.
Oh no,
mate! What is that?
What are we doing?
Bentley badge stamped on his forehead as well, so that's very well done.
You get some very, very nice, professional, good-looking liveries in OR, and then you get them. Creative, if nothing else. 10 seconds to Chris Cooley. I'm not sure what that was for. We haven't seen too many issues. It must have been a lap 1 thing that perhaps we missed.
Ooh,
oh, that's Sweet taking too much curb. Can he catch it? No, he can't.
Oh, I think he may have brushed the wall out of camera there, guys. I'm not too sure. He's still recovering. There was a little yellow dot that did come up on our screen. So there he is. Look at the replay here, guys.
Big slide. He may have just saved that going out of the wall, but yeah, that's a boatload of time that he's lost to Cooley and Sonic is there. Now, Ezon and Richuti is just like, hang on, we've got a car in front of us now. It's all to play for.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, there you go. I did say Sweet's a seasoned veteran. I don't think he was going to make any mistakes, but there was a mistake. So, drops down to P6. He's provisionally P5 because Cooley does have that 10-second penalty. And now I'm interested to see whether... So Cooley and Senekis will be on the phone together. They're in the same team. So I wonder if Cooley's going to release Senekis here. And over the last 5 seconds, perhaps let him have a challenge and try and get up to Sang and close that 3-second gap. I'm not sure whether they'll play that game or not. But Cooley is going to drop back sort of... well, he's going to drop for a handful of positions, really. May even drop outside the top 10. My maths isn't great straight off the bat, but that might be worth having a look at.
That's not a bad point you bring up, JC, because exactly as you said, oh, look, here's another replay of the wild moment. I think he just might have collected that wall, but yeah, he's lucky not to get away. And that's the good thing about these old school circuits with the grass as well. It's just a little bit different to having all the concrete runoff where the guys can gather up the car a lot easier. So it really makes you be careful when you try and push too hard, and it obviously it lets you risk versus reward, you could say.
Yeah, spot on. And it looks like a pretty simple track. There's not many corners, and they're all pretty sort of standard sort of corners. But as you said, the grass and the walls never far away, and it's as you said, pretty high risk, high reward.
Yeah, but I think if they did let JP go through, as you said, there is a chance that he may get onto the back of Sang, but the time is running out fairly quickly, and I think Hewley would be able to maybe still hold on to 5th position. Oh,
Yep.
as we got a Lamborghini.
Fano Rashuti facing backwards there
Oh,
on the outside of turn 3. 1, 2, 3, 4 corners, I think. I don't know, somewhere around there. Anyway, that was Rashuti facing backwards.
and all of a sudden we just had a big change for position there as Bushell gets up the inside of Lamb there for 8th place. As Bartlett was coming up the inside, going into Hawthorns, and Bartlett gets the position there, so he is up into P9. Oh, no, sorry, he did not get the position. My bad. And, well, there's a bit of a shame there from Rashuti. He was looking to take an advantage of the top 10 reverse grid for race 2, but unfortunately coming undone with 4 minutes to go, unfortunately.
And it looks like Cole Johnson is really aiming for this P10 so he can try and get this reverse grid pole position too and push himself up the order for race 2 so he doesn't have to start all the way down in 11th position. But let's see what he can do if he can try and claim Bartlett with what we've probably got with 2 more laps remaining. Maybe
He'll want
squeeze
it
a
too.
third.
He'll want it, Carlos. Bit of history between Bartlett and the Kovacs boys. Carlos will be wanting this. Here's what happened to Rashuti. Rashuti just taking a bit of grass on the entry.
Oh.
And it just looped him. Oh, no. I don't know if he was... It looks like he was holding his brakes. There's not a lot more than he could have done there. We haven't got the HUD on, so we can't say yes or no to whether he's holding the brakes. But that was unfortunate for whoever was coming through there.
Oh, I think that was Lamb, and Lamb might be carrying a lot of front-end damage there, so all of a sudden, the battle for the reverse grid pole for race 2 is just boiled up to 11.
Yeah, as we were just saying only about 5 minutes ago that the race may have just stagnated a little bit, but it always comes alive near the end, and that's what we're getting right now.
Yeah, spot on. This battle for P, as you said, this battle for P10 is really good now with Lamb having a bit of damage. Can he hold on? And Bartlett under pressure from Johnson as well. These 3 will be going ding-dongs all the way to the end. Lucas Keys is rounding turn 1, so we're going to have this lap and 1 more.
Here we go. Bit of a bad run out of there by Lamb. Bartlett tries around the outside, going into Paddock Hill Bend. Who's going to break later? It looks like Lamb just falls in position there and gives up the position there. But look at Johnson. Johnson's coming up the inside.
Get up,
coming
Carlos.
into Druids. And Carlos gets the position, and he will have top 10 reverse grid pole at this point as long as Lamb has anything to say about it. But brilliant opportunistic moves there from both Bartlett and Johnson, and Lamb just unfortunately coming fire from those 2 feisty drivers.
That's exactly right, Daniel, isn't it? You got to take your opportunities as soon as you get that opportunity, and that's exactly what those 2 drivers did. They didn't look back.
Yeah, spot on. Great call from you, Daniel. That was opportunistic and exactly what it was, and he absolutely nailed it. So well played to both Bartlett and Johnson up into the top 10. Cooley with his 10-second penalty is safe inside the top 10, but will probably drop down to around about 7, 8, potentially 9. Now we're back on board with Lucas Keys, who has not been on the camera once, which is how you know you're having a pretty good bloody race, because you're out the front there. Max was stappening your way up there, and he's just having a cracker. So he's 3 seconds clear of Shady Samuel, who's had the purple lap pinched from him by Peach. Apparently him and Cooley both doing 22 sixes in this race. That is quite rapid.
Wow, probably faster than what some of us can do in qualifying. Definitely, that's me in that case. I'm not that quick around this track as, well, we see Cooley's just making a bit of margin, just eking out, just eating into that margin between himself and Sang, now down to a second. So it's just going to ping him back maybe, I don't know, to like P7, P8, I would be guessing.
Oh, no!
Oh, as he runs a little bit wide and gives Sonicus,
Nice catch.
Peach, nice catch, but Peach is not going to be happy about that, let's just say that.
Nearly cursed him off the road there, Daniel. You said he was all right in the top 10, and he just nearly lost it.
I love that. The commentator's curse. I always have it as we have Cooley pulling over to the side. He feels bad, man. and gives Sonicus gives Peach the P4 that he deserves.
Oh,
as
where's he
almost.
going?
Oh, I think it's the end of the race now, and it just puts it straight into the pit lane wall. Very entertaining last bit of corners there from Cooley. Carl Johnson, however, will get that top 10 reverse grid pole for race 2. Brilliant driving from one of the two Porsches there, just doing something for the Porsches. Ricciuti, unfortunately, with a 15-second penalty as well.
Or maybe he wasn't holding his brakes.
Oh, we're gonna have to look back on that. Zach Graham, second in Pro-Am. Chalmers with a brilliant P1 in Pro-Am. With 35 seconds of penalties for Mike Reel there. Unfortunate for the BMW driver there.
Naughty.
Naughty as we take a look at the rest of the grid. Just finishing up there. Really nice battle warming up here from Woon and Jensen, who was unfortunately one of the drivers that got taken out. Or maybe he took himself out in one of the first few laps as he finishes a lowly P23.
And Macaulay coming across last. He's not won the race, but he's winning my heart with that livery. That's not bad. I feel bad for Lamb. Lamb finished P11, and if we're correct, we saw him. He's the one who hit Ricciuti with that rejoin, and if that rejoin was indeed not holding his brakes, then that feels real bad for Lamb, who obviously was carrying that damage, and that's how he got past. So a very honourable P11 for Lamb, and unfortunately just missing out on a reverse grid pole there from really no fault of his own. He was cruising along nicely up there inside the top 10, and yeah, it looks like Ricciuti wasn't holding his brakes, so unlucky. Anyway, qualifying 2.
So I believe this is for all positions 11 down.
Correct.
Cars only out.
Yep. Yeah, this is the only qualifying I got to do tonight. I thought qualifying was at 8 o'clock, so I was busy doing things with the kids, and I was sitting on the toilet while qualifying 1 was happening. It's no word of a lie. I just completely fluffed it up tonight. So I started from the back in race
Murphy,
1.
by the sounds of it.
Absolutely ruined it. Anyway, oh well.
That's right. It must have been a pretty entertaining race for you starting from the back, and we know your quality, so. I unfortunately didn't get to see the first race. How did it go?
It was fun. You're spot on. It was a lot of fun coming from the back. Got to see a lot of drivers that I have never seen before. A couple of the rookies who have come up, and it was really good quality driving. I was surprised actually how long it took me to work my way through the field. I thought it would be a bit of a breeze to get through that back 10, 15 or so. But there's a couple in particular who all defended really well. Obviously not particularly fast, but they all had the car in the right places. And on this track, if there's if they're not making mistakes, it's really hard to pass them, and they all did a great job. So, yeah, it was fun. It was enjoyable. And then race 2, I sort of the seas parted for me a little bit. I put it in P11. I qualified on pole here in qualifying 2, and so I was P11. And then by the time that we got to 10 minutes to go, Ashland had buggered off up the front, and I was P2, and everyone had just sort of fallen off the track. They're all crashing into each other and just parting the way for me, and I just snuck on through. So I had a lovely little race too.
Yeah, good to part away for yourself to get that position too. But got Gorilla Snapper back in the chat as well. He was always chatting the previous season as well, and he's obviously clapping there for Lucas on his victory. He won the first race of the season.
Yep. Nice work, Lucas. Very good. Very strong performance. He put it on pole and then got out to a nice lead. Peach gave him a bit of a head start with that tyre issue that he had, which sort of gave him a bit of a buffer zone, but he never looked back, didn't make a mistake, and as we said, he wasn't on the camera, so he must have had a clean one. It was a really strong performance from Lucas, so well said from Gorilla Snapper.
Talk about cameras. Have you actually seen his live stream? Looks like he's fully in the car and everything. He's got a really good setup there.
Who's that, Lucas Keys?
Yeah.
I haven't seen. I didn't know he streamed. I'm going to have to go check that out. Hang on a second. Where is he? He's on Twitch somewhere?
I believe he's on YouTube, I think it is.
Right.
Yeah, looks like he's fully sitting into an actual car and everything. He's got his camera mounted on his head somewhere.
Someone link it to me. Someone put it in chat. Someone give me...
Yeah, I'll be interested as well. That sounds awesome.
I'll try and find it.
Well, he's Bipolar Bear. I'm just going to search for that, see if he comes up. That's a musician with 480 subscribers, 480,000 subscribers. I don't think that's him. Anyway, someone link it for me. I'd like to have a look at that. Meanwhile, back here, Rachuti is currently on pole. Lamb says no. You went and punted me and cost me reverse grid pole, so I'm going to take this pole off you. And he puts it on provisional pole with a 23.3, which is a very tidy lap to get us underway. And Rachuti now 10th back, but we're on board with Rachuti as he comes around the final corner and he's got 4/10 in the bag. In fact, now half a second as he comes out of the last corner, so he will return serve and go back to P1 with a 22.947. Nice work, Stefano.
Actually, I apologise about that for Lucas Keys. I'm thinking of someone else there, so take
Right.
that back.
I know Michael Pickford has a setup like that. He has an incredible setup. Probably cost him half a house and a bunch of surgeries. I don't know. It's like it's massive. But I don't think he streams. But Pickers drives trucks around and he races on the weekend, so I wouldn't mind getting him streamed. If you've seen photos of his rig, it is phenomenal.
Yeah, good one.
I was gonna say, I think you're talking about Alex K.
Alex K, that's who
that's
I'm
the
thinking
one.
of.
That's
Yeah.
the one.
He's a really lovely guy, and I've been in a few of his voice chats before, and he's so down to earth. Even though he's got this amazing setup, he's so nice to talk to. He'll talk to anyone, to be honest. So, yeah, don't mean to plug him, but yeah, he's a really really nice guy. He'll go far.
Yeah, spot on. I've watched a couple of his streams as well and concur with that. He's a very nice fella, and that is it's a great rig, isn't it?
Oh,
It's
yeah,
absolutely
it's
insane.
amazing. Now, Mike Real in the BMW, I think previous season, I think he's been in this Nissan. I don't know if I'm correct there, but
That's invalid. Cheeky cut. Too much cut, Mike Reel.
yeah.
It's a shame too. He was 3/10 up, so he was looking like P2. I don't know how much time he's got in the last couple of corners. So he's got the pace in there, Mike Reel. We'll see how he goes in the last couple of minutes.
We've got Angelo Gonzalez too in a Merc, P4 at the moment of the top 11.
Oh, he's just been. Oh no, he's taken it straight back. I think he got usurped by Pete Viney there for about half a second, and then Angelo Gonzalez took P4 right back off him.
Nice, that's what we like to see.
Lovely, a bit of a anything you can do, I can do better moment there. So as we see Lamb just wrestling this Aston Martin, it's a very sideways lap here. It's not going to be enough for P11 I should say, but it's a really sideways lap here. So he's going to go for it again. But yeah, I was just watching that throughout the especially through sector 2. I was like, how was he keeping that thing on the track?
His hands
Yeah,
are all
exactly.
over the place, weren't they? Yeah.
But with a minute to go, Rashuti may be, he's parked the car here, so he could maybe in danger of some of these other cars. Still plenty of time here with guys on a fast lap.
Oh man, here he is. He's up there in P10. There's Stu Matthews shouting at clouds with half a second in the bag too. Where's that? It's going to put him up into P. Oh, it's actually only going to get him one position if he hangs on to this.
Yeah.
That is a great livery, by the way. Chris Murphy is a driver in split blue, and he made that one up, and that is a very stylish livery that the old man runs around with. So he's lost all his time. I don't know if he can hear us on stream. We've cursed him, or if we've had the attention on him, and he's just gone and thrown all that time away.
Yeah,
Oh,
probably
he
got
must have-
excited seeing him half a second up and try to push that little bit more. And we know what happens when you try and squeeze that little bit more out sometimes.
Got time for one more? 4 seconds, 3 seconds. Yeah, he's got time for one more. Come on, old man. Oh no, he's got no fuel left. He
He's
pulled over.
bailed.
Oh,
No.
Mike running wide.
Oh, Mike Reel he's almost 2/10 up now. He might lose a little bit on exit there, but he's on for a bit of a stonking lap here, and he might be on possibly for P11 here. We'll have to see how the rest of the lap goes. Up through Hawthorne and keeps it around the same. We'll have to see. Well, we're kind of glued to this lap here. Was that cut? No, it was not, but he lost a little bit of time there. As we take it through Sterling's, a little bit shallow, loses a little bit on exit there. Oh, he's going to be only a 10th up, so he's going to need a brilliant corner through Clark here, and gets the power down nice and early. Wide run to the line, and it's only going to be a 10th of a second improvement there, so only P13.
There were a couple of drivers towards that at the end of that session with lots of time in the bank, and just got a little bit nervous in those last couple of corners. So they didn't make any mistakes, just maybe a little too keen to hold on to that time, and in doing so, just didn't carry enough speed. So Ricciuti, nice work, P1, Lamb, P2, and Real P3. Soapy's up there in P4. That's a pretty good effort from him, Zach Graham. And then we watched Angelo Gonzalez put it up there in P5. So they will start 11 through 16. But it is the reverse grid pole race. So I think it was Carlos Johnson who's going to start from the very front.
Yeah, he's going to absolutely lap that up. Johnson, we've seen him in quite a good lot of battles, if people can remember, from the previous season as well. So he always gave back as good as he was getting as well. So we'll see if he can actually clear this run down to the first corner and see if he can hold off the chasing pack.
Run down to turn 1 is a little bit easier in race 2 for the pole sitter because it's such a delayed start. The green lights don't actually occur until P11 comes across the line, just because of the way that qualifying 2 works there. So it's a bit of a delayed start, which gives that, it's going to give Carlos a little bit of extra playroom to sort of get himself down to the apex. It should be much easier for him.
Yeah, nice point.
He'll start up there with David Bartlett, I believe it was. So it'll be... Is it Porsche? Yeah, he's in a Porsche, Carlos. What's he doing in a Porsche? And Tarks is in a Porsche as well. Pete Viney and Carl Johnson in Porsches. I don't think I've seen that before. Anyway, that'll be a Porsche versus Bentley front row down into turn 1. So looking forward to seeing that. 55 seconds until we get under the way for the formation lap. It is 19 degrees again, and it is bright sunshine again. We had any rain? Have we had any rain at any of the splits so far?
Not too sure. I haven't caught up on the racing from last night, but maybe if anyone's in the chat, might be able to let us know.
There was, on the very last lap of the first race in Split Blue, there was rain. So, like, even the leaders wouldn't have raced in the rain. They would have crossed the line. But everyone from maybe P12 onwards got the tiniest sprinkle of moisture. That's the only rain I can recall. I don't think there was any rain last night. And obviously we've still got Europe and North America coming to your airwaves. Europe will be about 4 a.m. and North America around about 9 a.m. tomorrow, something like that. So we've still got those ones to go. Actually, we're doing Europe? I don't even know if we're doing Europe this season. I know we've got North Americans going. They're ready to go.
Yeah, they'll be looking forward to their race tomorrow.
No rain in yellow. Thank you, Jay. Yeah, I don't think there was any rain last night. I don't think there was any in green. So, England has been mostly dry. Not realistic. Look, there's a beach over there. Not realistic.
You could say that again. Apparently, according to one of my UK mates, it has been raining for him. So yeah, definitely not realistic. ACC 0 out of 10 for realism.
Immersion ruined.
And Soliton on YouTube is was saying that wish that race 1 from that blue race you were just mentioning. JC went another 10 minutes with that wet weather. Might have spiced a few things up as well. Maybe give you a chance to come back through a little bit further as well.
Yeah, no, I love racing in the wet. That's honestly my favourite track condition, is when it's been dry and it's just started to rain and you're still on dry tyres and they're starting to cool down and it's not properly wet yet, but it's like that greasy, damp. That's the best fun.
Yeah, that's it. Just seeing if you can eke out that little bit more out of your tyres. Just hold on to that bit of temperature. Delay the time that you may have to go onto those wets, if at all.
Right, so I had some... Apparently Discord's got push-to-talk issues at the moment. And that's actually a few people facing those issues. But I've sorted that out. So I'd like to call this race start. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, if that's okay with you. Thank you for covering for me on the last one too, by the way, Daniel. I didn't realise I was having problems until you came in. So great work from you.
That's all good. Yeah, I was just thought there was nothing happening, so I thought I might as well keep the train rolling.
Yeah, I had my finger on the push-to-talk button and nothing was happening. So yeah, it's a Discord-wide issue at the moment, apparently, not a me thing. So anyway, we're good to go for race 2.
We do just for a little bit of info on the weather over in Scotland. It is raining. Thank you, Nick Jones.
Nice work last night, by the way, Scorchio. Very, very strong performance from you. At least in qualifying. I think the race you got punted a couple of times. That's been unfortunate. Anyway, Carlos up the front, as we said, the Porsche on the inside there, that beautiful little white and black livery number that he's got going on, and Bartlett in the Bentley on the right-hand side. And they've got Bushell and look out for Cooley being there in P4. He's a little bit out of position, I would suggest, and Sweet not far behind him either. So there's a couple of fast drivers up there in the midfield, but right now it is Johnson versus Bartlett. That's who we're watching. We're still red. Now we are green, and Carlos gets a nice start, so he should be right holding on. Oh, Cooley getting a little bit bullied there. Up into turn 1, manages to hold on to P4. In fact, gets down the inside now, so Cooley's going to have a look up to the inside of turn 2, and he is going to get it done, and he has to pull it up, and nearly got into the back of Bartlett, but he will pinch P3. Sweet hanging around there in P5, and most of the field getting through turn 1 and 2. In fact, all of the field getting through turn 1 and 2 nicely. Carlos getting a very nice start, and he's pulling a nice little gap already to Bartlett. And oh, was that a little touch there? It might be just a little bump that the McLaren went over, but Sweet was quite close to the McLaren of Bushell, who we are on watching now. And Sweet, yeah, Sweet will put him under a fair bit of pressure, but Bushell's a very good driver. He's a very experienced driver. He won't feel that. Keys already up into P7. Look at that. That Bentley is on fire tonight. And there's a bit of touch there, and there's a little bit of contact up into this nice fast right-hander, beautiful corner. That there's someone, car 55 has not made it all the way around here, so they're struggling back there. I'm not sure whether that was self-inflicted or if they got a bit of a tap from someone else, but everyone else has made it through here perfectly. Ison up into P10, Ricciuti has dropped back to P11. Keys is the big mover after lap 1, and he, again, looking to make another one hit. So he's going to have a go at Peach. The two Bentleys into the last quarter doing battle, and indeed, he's going to get that done. He'll have to run down to turn 1. It's going to take something extremely adventurous around the outside from Senekis to hold on to that position. I reckon Keys has got him.
Yeah, 3 spots in the opening lap for Keys. That's a good opening stanza for him. As down the inside goes Corey, I think.
Yeah, Corey Sweet on Mark Bushell there, and Mark
no.
just giving Corey a bit of love. Now, there was a lot more room on the inside for Bushell there, and Sweet had to turn in at some point. So, look, I don't want to put my steward's hat on. They'll have a look at that, and they'll come to terms with what happened there, but I reckon Bushell might be in a little bit of trouble for that one. So Sweet, unfortunately, coming off second best, and he's dropped right down to second last. Still don't know who car 55 is, and they're just out the back there by themselves. But yeah, Sweet at the back of the field now. Meanwhile, up the front, Bushell giving up another position there to Sang, and Sang sneaks his way through. And then Bushell, I think, lets Keys and Senekis through. Senekis definitely got through. Oh, Bushell, oh no.
Oh, it just
goes
goes,
and,
just goes. Sorry,
bad to
just
worse.
goes bad to worse. I was going to
Yeah.
say. Thanks for completing it. Sorry.
You're all over it.
tripping over ourselves. Trying to dribbling over ourselves there.
That's it. And Lucas is actually, oh, here we go. Just the rear result looks like it just went away on him. But Lucas Keys is doing the rain dance in the automotive world with his windscreen wipers on.
Oh, that's very intimidating.
So there's something there that he may want, but maybe not going to happen for him. But I don't think he's going to need the wet weather. He's driving very well in that Bentley.
Just trying to distract Peach.
That's it. Maybe he's just trying to wipe off that grin that he can see on the back of his car.
No, great start from Keys. Seneka's still holding him at bay at the moment, but you wonder how long that's going to be. Keys goes from 10th to 1st in this one. That'll be a super impressive performance. But I said keep your eye on Cooley. Cooley up the front is purple lapped and is through Bartlett. And Carlos is going to have a pretty hard time trying to hold him off, I would suggest. So that'll be the one to watch. Sang here, going along nicely behind Bartlett. I would think he will make light work of him at some point. Here's a replay up into turn 2. Oh, that is Bartlett. That's Bartlett Johnson. Okay, so that's how Cooley got through on Bartlett. That was Bartlett, I think, just being a little bit too adventurous, really, and sort of coming off second best from his own move.
I think that's a term called the vortex of danger there. So Bartlett just putting the nose in up the inside there, not far enough up the inside, and Johnson had to turn in, and unfortunately he was just in the, well, it's a racing term, vortex of danger of Johnson there. So yeah, unfortunate coming together. I wonder what the stewards will have to say about that.
May be interesting. We've got Mia in the chat. Obviously, Brad asking, will Keys make it to P1? Mia with a very definite no, she thinks. So let's wait and see.
Chat, where's Mia? Are you in? Is there a YouTube going? Oh,
Yeah,
someone
there
said
is a
YouTube was broken, so I've only got Twitch chat up. I thought Twitch chat was being a bit quiet.
They secretly come in on the YouTube at the moment now.
Cheeky buggers.
They got the inside goss, I think, I might say. But welcome, Mia. As we're looking here at Bartlett.
I think the only reason that Maya is saying no to Keys, as we see, Cooley has now gotten into the lead now. So as we take a look at the replay there, nice segue through coming up the inside into Druids. Johnson gives him plenty of room and does a brilliant job, just sends it up the inside. Cool, calm, collected, and into first place and looking to skip away.
Yeah, pretty smart driving by Carl, I reckon, though. He knows he's got Cooley, he's a lot faster, and this is an opportunity for Johnson to actually get a really good result. So he doesn't want to sort of get anyone angry behind him and maybe give him a little bit of a tap where he may get, you know, spun around or something like that and throw away maybe a top 10 result here tonight.
Yeah, and just looking at the other silver class drivers there, the only the closest driver that Johnson has got is Ezon, who's actually set the fastest lap of the race. I mean, it's early doors, but really great work from the silver class AMG driver. So yeah, Enzo Ezon doing a very, very good job there. P8, I believe they were did they start a bit higher or start mid-pack? I can't remember.
Not too sure, but I believe Ison was actually a AM driver last series as well, and he just showed that pace, always mixing it with a silver class driver, so it's good to see him up in the silver class for this season.
Yeah, doing a fantastic job. However, Cooley does have a lap of fresh air now, so I'm guessing that, I don't want to sound pessimistic here, but that fastest lap is gonna be disappearing very soon. 3, 2, 1. Fastest lap for Cooley. There we go.
Yeah, there's no doubt in that, is there? He's definitely a great driver. He's got those clear. He's basically like he's on a qualifying run now. He's got clear skies in front of him. There's Johnson holding this train up. And Dan Buster's saying well done to J-Mac, coming from the back up into the top 15 from the back of the grid. So well done to Macaulay in the BMW, the car 623.
Rocky Cooley's going quickly. He has just gapped Johnson very quickly. He's 3 seconds up the road already. So with Sang, Senekis, both very quick drivers behind Carlos. Wonder what Carlos is going to do here. Is he going to? I don't know what if we want to defend this too hard, to be honest. He knows that the two drivers behind him are super quick, and with half an hour to go, I don't think he'll want to get sort of punted. Look, Carlos he's a racer, that's for sure. He'll defend for a little while, but I wonder how long he can hold on from Sang and Senekis here. And then how long is it going to take them to get past him? And can they reel in Cooley in that time? We've still got half an hour to go, plenty of time. But, yeah, they want to get through Carlos pretty quickly.
Yeah, if they can, and that's another thing too for they're saying, JC. Also, you can just see the rear end of that Porsche just starting to step out a little bit, and that's what can happen as well. He's sort of out of position with these faster cars trying to get through, and you start pushing that little bit harder, and you could just spin it. As it looks like JP going around the outside, I think. Oh,
He
some
was,
nice
yep.
fight back in there. But yeah, you just that's just one of those things that you need to think about, I guess, when you're up in that high position. You'd love to stay there, but you know, in those faster cars, it's maybe wise just to try not to push too hard and put yourself in the wall.
He's still got his bloody wipers on, so there's clearly something going on there. He's got a plan.
He's definitely got a plan.
This is a replay of the Senekis move, and he did have a run, but oh, there was a bit of a touch there. Didn't see that as we moved away and then came back, and so Sang manages to hang on to that position. That's Rubbings Racing. Play on. And another replay here of Shady Samuel up the inside of what I think is Bartlett, and that is a touch. We straightened him up for good measure, so that was nice of Shady, but I think he'll get a little smack for that one, unfortunately.
Yeah, Rashidi looked like he made a little bit out of it. Sorry, Daniel.
No, you're right. I was just going to say Bartlett's just not had the luck on his side during this race. That I believe is the second time that he's been involved in an incident here. As we see going up the inside here, Keys forcefully going up the inside there of Page there, and just stamping his authority, being I'm the dominant Bentley. But never mind, Page wants back, and he's gonna run him out wide.
Good battle.
Going through Graham Hill. Now it's coming up to Surtees. It's gonna be anyone's game. Key's gonna look for the switchback, possibly gonna have a run going down to Hawthorne's Bend, but well done to Page there. I thought Keys was home and hosed in P4 there, showing him to be the dominant Bentley. But as you can see, Keys there having just stamping his face all over the face of Page's car there.
And all the guys on Facebook are basically hoping to see that face wiped off with those wipers. But yeah, that's they're all commenting about that face. It's all about the face tonight.
Brad saying Bartlett and Samuel had another go at turn 6. So no, Bartlett dropped back, so maybe turn 5. We saw the turn 5 one, and that put Bartlett 2 positions behind Shady. So I don't think they had another go up into turn 6. But we definitely saw the turn 5 one. Sang here, just getting all around the mirrors of Carl Johnson here. Carl having a little trouble with the back end of that Porsche previously. Looks like he's got it under control now. But Sang here getting a little impatient. He's not doing anything naughty, but he's certainly waving around in the back of Carlos's mirrors, trying to let him know, hey, I'm right here. You make one mistake and I'll be all over you.
That's all it's going to take. But you've got to give credit to Carl. You know, I've been actually mentioned that maybe you might want to let these cars through and look for the long run and finish up in the high up in this order. But you know, he's holding his own here. He's putting the car where it needs to be, and the other guys have to find their way around. So that's all about the racecraft here for the faster cars.
Yep, love it, Carlos. Hang on for your dear life, mate. He's just cool. He's just disappearing up the road now, though. He's 7 seconds clear. Sang is all over the back of Johnson. How long can Johnson hold on? It is a track where it is extremely difficult to pass here. There's almost no opportunities to pass a car that hasn't made a mistake. So as long as Carlos keeps it online, he keeps that Porsche under control, Sang will have a lot of trouble. And he'll have a bit of a train developing here behind him too, because with Senekis, Keys and Shady Samuel not too far away either, they should all be right on the bumper of Carlos. But if he just keeps his cool, keeps it online, it's not a lot they can do.
All Carlos is thinking of right now is just those 3 cars behind him, and all those cars that are behind each other just going like, come on, have a bit of a battle, have a bit of a nibble, and it could be a bit of a kerfuffle. As we see, number 63 has gone off. Who's that? That's Zach Graham. I'm pretty sure it's Zach Graham or Zane Graham, maybe.
Yeah, Zach Graham. Yep,
Zach Graham. He's had a bit of an off there, unfortunately. But as we take a look at the replay, going way too much speed through Paddock Hill, and just backs it into the barrier there. Not too much damage there, so he'll be able to carry on.
Yeah, he's a long way in that sand trap there. As we know at Paddock Hill Bend, it's not a good feeling when you start going out there. I think everyone's been there before.
Ooh, Sang around the outside.
Yeah, around the outside there. Sang's going to have a go, but
Slammed.
Carlos slams shut the door. This is going to leave the door open for Peach to go maybe around the outside, going through Clark. And
Look at Lucas.
Sonicus just has too much grass there on his tires, and that just leads Key to go right to the inside there. But here we go. They're going to go 2 by 2 going into Paddock Hill. Oh, a bit of a squeeze there from Johnson and Sang. They're going to go wheel to wheel into Druids Bend. Same with Keys and Sonicus side by side.
Carlos.
Sonicus gets back the position, and Carlos maybe might be in trouble here.
Here we go.
He gets a bit of contact. And Sang might be in a bit of trouble here, but Sonicus now gets up to P2. And what's this? Samuel's in the fight now.
Shady.
Shady's just up there.
Oh,
Shady. Oh, no.
No.
Oh, the rejoin. Oh, my goodness. Oh, that could have been much worse.
Moment.
Oh, you
What
can
a
see that
moment that
coming
was.
from a mile away. Oh, there's another car that's off. Who was that? That was number 75, I believe.
There's a lot to unpack here.
Oh, absolutely. We take a look at the replay there. Johnson getting a little bit unsettled there from Sang. Leads Sonicus to go right up the inside there. Samuel's going, I want to have a bit of this too. And Keys is just like, you guys are going to go into each other straight away, and that's going to be P3 for me. Thank you very much.
Yeah, that's don't want to be the stewards there, guys. I'll tell you what, there was a very lot going on, so I'm sure they're going to be debating and going through a few footage there as we now look at Lucas to see if he can reel in Sonicus in front. He doesn't want to let him go. As Rashuti now coming on through too on the back of Carl.
Yeah, Ricciuti very quick. Not quite on the level of Seneca's Keys and Sang though, so Carlos will be a little bit more comfortable now. He'll be disappointed that he's let those positions go, but he held on for as long as he could, and he fought ferociously, heroically, as Sang was putting him under pressure and got side by side with him. So he's done very well, Carlos, but now he gets to sit in front of Ricciuti, who I think he'll know he'll be capable of holding off Ricciuti. But then Sang, after his incident with Shady Samuel, is now back in P7. So Sang will come back through the field in the next 23 minutes, and he will be right under Carlos's bumper again at some point, I would suggest.
And here's this Hulk Lamborghini of Pete Chalmers in the Kovacs racing. Or something like that, a superhero. Look, you can just feel like it's something there at the front of that Lambo.
It's got a great little comic book aesthetic to it, that one, doesn't it? It's almost like a matte
It does.
green, and that's a great little livery.
Is it the Green Lantern or something? I don't know. Anyway.
Oh no,
Lucas. Is it?
it is Lucas Keys.
Yeah, it's Lucas Keys. He's just had a big off there, and now falling into the clutches of Johnson, who's, always up for a bit of a battle here. As we see, Ricciuti is very, very close to Keys now. To Johnson, I should say now. So, I'll have to go take a look at that battle if we can.
Oh, that's Aston holding on to Green.
Who's that? That's Lamb. That's Lamb behind Corey Sweet there. So he's just had a big old scare going around the last corner, but it was a good catch. Chester Lamb, nice work. Hangs on to it. He's got himself a 15-second penalty there at some point. Unfortunate.
And we've got a new Kovacs fan here in Jay. He loves the look of that Lambo, that green Lambo, on chat as well. So glad you enjoy it, Jay. I think that's one of my favourite liveries out there as well. On the grid, when we did the grid walk, it took my attention. And he's there in 13th, so he's doing a good job.
As we see, we cut to this battle here between Ricciuti and Johnson. Johnson goes a little bit wide. Ricciuti's right up, tucked up underneath the wing of Johnson. Now he's going to have a little bit of a look. Maybe into, or maybe not. Maybe not. As we can see, very, very, very close. Coming into Clark Curve. There we go. My track map went down a little bit. Sorry, my bad. As they come almost wheel to wheel, side by side, as we take a look at the replay here of the Aston Martin getting a very, very loose. Now we take a look at the inside, and Johnson keeps the door slammed shut, but that's going to compromise his line coming into Druids Bend. What can Ricciuti do? He's going to bide his time, and he's safe for another lap.
Yeah, the Porsche looks good out of slow corners, and that Lambo looks really good through the middle sector. So that's where, if he's going to get to work, Ricciuti's got to get his gloves off in that middle sector. I reckon probably coming into the last couple of corners, he'll have a little bit of overspeed. That Lambo's so good in third and fourth gear, whereas the Porsche is a little bit stronger in the lower gears, the hairpin. And as I said, I think Carlos will be happy with where he's at the moment. He'll be pretty comfortable trying to hold off Stefano, I think. That is Chester Lamb up the inside of Pete Chalmers and gets that one done. Nice work. So 15-second penalty. He's going to try and move his way up the field a little bit further and try and keep a couple of those positions. But maybe Pete just thinking, you know what, you've got 15 seconds, so I'm not going to fight that one too hard because I'll have that back at the end of the race, I reckon.
Yeah, smartly done there from Chalmers, I reckon. As Lamb's just going to be trying to make as much margin as he possibly can and try not to get held up too much by the guys in front. As we still see Ricciuti and Johnson going hammer and tong. And Ricciuti's just backed off a little bit, so he might have just burned out his tyres just a little bit. But I could definitely see Ricciuti trying another attack. In a few laps time, Johnson gets a little bit of a wiggle coming out of Druids. And again, just a little bit of a slip angle moment there from Johnson. And geez, keeping that Porsche under control really well. I'm not meaning to curse him, as I've done with many other drivers before, but he's very much under control with that Porsche.
Yeah, I've had a good night of the curses. You've pulled out a couple already. Still 20 minutes to go too.
I know, and it's not really it's not really something I hold proudly, to be honest. But yeah, well, I'm just saying for the Porsches. Yes, there we go. There's a bit of a mistake. Sorry, Ricciuti. I'm not. Don't mean to not cheer, not for you, but just a little mistake there. Come on, little Porsche.
I wonder how many of these drivers listen to the stream. Like, I know one or two people who used to. I don't know if it's a common thing. How many people listen to the stream and then they hear their own name? And do they look over to the stream, or do they just hear their name and they get a little bit of a wiggle happening? Because they're like, oh crap, that's me, don't do anything stupid.
I don't know, but I know Sean Muller, who normally does a commentary, and we wish him well. I think he's having a little bit of health problems, but he gets a little bit of commentator's curse going. He likes to count the numbers. And yeah, so hoping for Sean to have a speedy recovery if you watch him.
Absolutely. Love you, Mullet. Hope you're well. You watch this one back. We'll see you next week, hopefully. Ricciuti very wide there. Oh, he's carried way too much speed through the hairpin, and that'll cost him a little bit of breathing room up towards Carlos, who'll enjoy that. Cooley is now plus 10 on Jean-Pierre Senekis in P2. He's just doing his business up here in the ANL esports vehicle. And Peach is going to be content with P2. I think he's definitely not reeling in 10 seconds on a very fast Chris Cooley. He's got Keys 2 seconds behind him, so he'll be keeping an eye on that delta. And then a long way back to Carlos. So those three up the front are pretty much locked in. You would expect Keys to try and put some pressure on Peach at some point over the next 17 minutes. And then Carlos is just going to defend for his life from Ricciuti and Bartlett. Sang probably not eating into the Bartlett gap as much as I thought that he would, but he's obviously carrying a lot of damage from that wall tap that he got from Shady Samuel, who's now got 15 seconds worth of penalties for his troubles. So Sang may not be able to put a dent into the pack here as quickly as I thought that he would.
No, not at this stage, but obviously it looks like he's been cleared of any wrongdoing that when he got involved a little bit there before that incident with Shady as well. I think when it went down the inside of Carl.
Speaking of Shady, here he is. I don't know if he's just let that one through. Who was that? It's Mike Reel is in P11 behind him, but I don't think that's Mike Reel's car. Or is it? No, it is. No, that's spot on. That's Mike Reel's BMW. He's just made a move up the inside of Shady Samuel up into turn 1. So I don't know whether that was just a mistake from Shady or if the BMW's got that much power. I don't think it's that strong, is it? Anyway, P10, Mike Reel. Nice work.
Yeah, beautiful job. Obviously, might be suffering a little bit of front end damage, and obviously as well that Ferrari, so it could be a problem, bit of turning.
I will say though, it's been a great recovery drive from Bartlett here. He's now up the back of Ricciuti here, so Bartlett just hoping that he doesn't get a repeat of the last two incidents that he's had. So he's going to be treading very carefully, I reckon.
Yeah, he's had a rough old night.
Yeah, and there's some support for the BMW of the 623, the Pro-Am of J Mac, McCall, position 14. If he keeps going like that, as he is, with the penalties in front of him, he may get himself up into position 12 at this stage.
That's a great effort. Started from the back, didn't he?
He sure did. So great drive here in race 2.
Did he start from the back? I know he finished last in race 1. I don't know where he qualified, so he may not have started from the back.
Maybe not at the last, but it was saying that he was at the back somewhere.
So yeah, it's a great effort, being all the way up there in P14. Obviously driving a really solid, consistent race and just picking up the pieces of the drivers who have fallen off the wayside. So very nice work from Macaulay up there in P14 at the moment.
Yeah, Dan Buster might be able to let us know in chat exactly where he did start if he did know, but obviously, yeah, probably the last couple of rows anyway. Always
15 minutes to go.
Ricciuti's always in the action. He's a great driver, just there in that mid-pack, always very fighting for positions. He's good at holding and defending as well. So, but we can see if he can get through Cole. It showed that he could defend the faster pro drivers earlier in this race. And we can just see here, if Ricciuti can get up into position 4, he'd really love to finish this race in that 4th position if he can. As would Bartlett as well if he can.
Yeah, Bartlett's just joined the party here a bit over the last couple of laps, hasn't he?
He's come in strong.
Oh no, a couple of the Kovacs guys having connection issues apparently. Pete Viney dropped out a while ago, that's a shame. And now apparently David Neighbour has also dropped a connection. So a couple of the Kovacs cars disappearing off the track map.
Maybe using David Neighbour's internet. You know, tuning into your neighbour's internet. There's a dad joke for you on a Thursday night.
Lovely.
Staying with that, what's he got there? A 25-second penalty, guys. So he has got a penalty. I don't know if he's commented about that earlier. I was sort of in daydream land earlier, but just noticed there, 25-second on our Christmas tree there.
Yeah, Sang with 25 seconds as well. And we saw Mike Reel with 35 seconds in the last race. So split blood getting their hands dirty this evening.
Only took the first race to get through.
Yeah, that's it. Only took about 20 minutes of just letting it boil, like letting it getting up to boiling temperature, and now it's just absolutely kicked off. As we looking at the back of Johnson there, just getting a lot of slip angle there, keeping that Porsche somehow in a straight line. It's got to have a little bit of rear end damage from all the incidents there. As just giving you guys the Porsche experience here, just wiggles all the way off the exit there.
Down in camera 2 there, that looks like that is, I think it's Ison going around the edge of, these two have been battling on for a little while, Ison and Gonzalez. Angelo Gonzalez probably just braked a little bit early up into the hairpin, and Ison went right around the outside. That was a cracking move. If indeed that's what I saw. It was a little mini camera down there. I might have got it wrong, but I think it is. Ison up now into P8. This is up into the hairpin.
No love lost here between the teammates, is it?
Oh, they're teammates. Okay, so did he let him go there? Because that's an epic move otherwise.
Yeah, both for LOR. So, yeah, doing a good job, those two. And maybe there was some team orders there. But he did seem to fight back there at the next couple of corners after that.
Bartlett's made a mistake here in the last couple of laps because he's dropped back off the battle here. He's now 1.6 seconds behind, so he's made a little bit of an error at some point. Nothing calamitous, and he's still 1.6 seconds in front of Sang. 1.3 now the gap to Sang, so he won't want to battle Sang, I don't think. If Sang does manage to catch him, he'll let him on through because he's a very quick driver, Sang, and he's got that 25 seconds worth of penalty, so he's not a threat. But Ricciuti still here, stuck behind Carlos, who's defending beautifully. He's got that Porsche online. We did see his hands crossed over a little bit before, but he seems to have it under control. Any time he gets that slip angle happening, as Daniel rightly pointed out, he seems to have it pretty much under control. So it's costing him a little bit of time, but he's in no danger of putting it on in the grass or in the wall. So he's just holding off Ricciuti nicely.
Well, if there's ever a commentator's curse, that comment there that you just said there, JC's really, really up there.
He's
Wow,
doing...
Sorry to interrupt you guys there, but Keys has just gotten the drive-through for, I'm guessing, track limits.
Ooh,
This
wow.
has thrown a massive spanner in the works. So all of a sudden, this battle that we're seeing here is for the podium, the final podium place. So
Yes, it is.
now the stakes have just risen. As we take a look here, Keys just taking a little bit too much curb there, and probably a fourth and final curb strike there. So
Uncle John in chat letting us know that Jean-Pierre is also on 3 warnings. So Seneka's up there in P2. He's going to have to be really careful now because the other Bentley's got himself a drive-through. But as you said, this battle now is for the podium, and I reckon Ricciuti knows it because this is all of a sudden, he's just put himself in the mirrors of Carlos a little bit over the last couple of corners. This is going to get pretty hot over the next 10 minutes. Hopefully, this doesn't end in tears. I'd love to see a good battle between these two, but the behaviour has changed from Ricciuti having seen that drive-through come up for Keys.
Oh, 100%. It's definitely changed the race, the dynamics here now.
9 minutes to go. As I said, I hope this doesn't end in tears. I do want to see a battle. Carlos has driven nicely. He's driven within the confines of that Porsche. Well, he's got the rear end stepping out a little bit, but as I said, it looks like he's got it under control. But now Ricciuti's going to have to invent a way through. Both of them using all of the track and some. You can see the dirt coming up the grass. They're just tickling the grass out there. This is going to be a cracker for the last 9 minutes. This is where the camera will be pointed.
Yeah, this may just give a chance for Bartlett as well, with these guys now battling. And as we know, it could just slow them down that little bit more. So what a view this is coming out of.
Well, here we go. Lamborghini versus Porsche. We've seen this movie before, but who will come out on top as Ricciuti's just trying very audacious move round the outside of Paddock Hill Bend, but nothing doing. And Johnson, I believe, will hold on for one more lap. Those rear tires have got to be absolutely begging for mercy under that Porsche.
Yeah. Oh, that's wide too from Ricciuti. I don't know how many warnings he's got, but that's probably one of them. I reckon that was a little bit too wide. But yeah, I reckon Ricciuti's got the pace. I reckon he's probably a 10th or 2 per lap faster than Johnson. There's just nowhere to pass, and Johnson's got the car in all the right places. And as Annie said in chat, he's very capable with the rear end stepping out as Carlos. He doesn't mind a bit of a slip angle, so he's actually having a really red-hot crack here in the Porsche, and he's very comfortable behind the wheel of a slippy, slidey car. So Ricciuti's going to have to, as I said, invent a way through, because I don't see Carlos making any mistakes over the next 7 minutes. A couple of very nice camera angles coming out here from the choreography director. It's very nice.
Yeah, big shout out to Ben on the cameras there. He's doing a fantastic job. They split blue and red, so well done. And thank you, Ben, for all your hard work.
Great stuff, full cream.
Full cream. And talking about that, though, about Carlos with his, stepping out. I dead set thought Annie, when I was reading that in the chat, was talking about the disco floor more than anything. But anyway, maybe it's just controlling that Porsche.
Oh, Carlos, I don't know whether he got a bad run out of turn 1, but he felt like he had to defend the inside. He's sort of defending fresh air there. I think he said he had a reasonable run out of turn 1. Didn't make any mistakes, but he put it up the inside thinking that he had to defend, and that would have compromised him a little bit. But Ricciuti's still not good enough in these slow corners. It's going to be out of this corner, and then this middle sector coming up is where Ricciuti really seems to close the gap, and the Lambo seems to be pretty hooked up around those 3rd, 4th gear corners. So but they're not overtaking opportunities, so I just don't see where this is going to happen unless, as I said, Carlos makes a mistake, and he looks pretty comfortable.
Yeah, he does.
Oh.
You just see how much that Lambo is making room up around here at Hawthorne and Westfields.
Oh, he's going to look for the run, maybe coming into Sterling's, just nothing doing again. Just not really, as you said, JC, not a passing opportunity. Really only has the first two corners in Paddock Hill and Druids to get a move done. Otherwise, big step
That's gonna bring him up.
the outside, and he's gonna defend like a lion here. Johnson coming to Paddock Hill. Oh, there might be a bit of a touch here. Ricciuti having a good run there. It's going to be side by side going into Druids. Who's going to get it there? Ricciuti really has to hold this for all that he can. But unfortunately, there is no grip out there. And brilliantly, Johnson has somehow kept it on the podium.
He made that same defensive move against Sang only sort of 20 minutes ago. That's when we saw that big battle that made it a four-way. That's exactly how Carlos defended. He got a bit of a run happening. He got a bit of a run. Someone got a run on him. I think it was Sang out of turn one. And then he just sent it deep into the hairpin. He really late on the brakes, forcing Sang to go around the outside. He made Ricciuti do the same thing there. Ricciuti had to go around the outside. And as you said, no grip out there. So Carlos hangs on. With 5 minutes to go, he will be sweating profusely.
Good call, guys. That was awesome. So much excitement there, as we did see, and you brought it right to the viewers. Well done, guys.
This is just brilliant. So, well, it makes it easy when the two drivers in question are just putting on an absolute show for us. A real meal for the eyeballs right now. So, yeah, as we come to less than 5 minutes to go, this could still be anyone's game.
So round two, here we go. What's going to happen? Oh, they've run him wide on that camera angle.
Brilliant camera work as always there, as Ricciuti's just going to buy his time. He's probably setting up maybe 10, maybe 20 corners from now to have a big dive, as he's just waiting on Johnson to make a slight little error, a slight mix up on exit, just to try and force it down the inside. He's tried around the outside, didn't work. Tried around the outside again, did not work again. He's really inside, has to get that car on the inside and get it done.
Yeah, the background there too over the last couple of laps. Sorry, Neil, but the background has Sang and Bartlett as well. Ben's just brought it up into camera 2 for us. So I think, as I said, with the 25-second penalty, not worth going back and watching that one, but Sang has really closed that gap now, and he has been all over Bartlett in this last couple of laps. And again, look at him right up under the bumper of Bartlett. I'm not sure why Bartlett would defend that with as much gusto as he is. Like, with 25 seconds of penalties, I would think you'd probably just let Sang go, wouldn't you?
Yeah, you would as well, but it's exactly it. Like Sang, if he gets past him, he could be an influencer in this battle for P3. I know he's got the 25-second gap, but you know, he wants to keep going. He's a racer. Always a racer will always try and make a move. So as I said, Bartlett has to be careful here, because you know, Sang's got that boiling blood from earlier in the race, and he won't be happy with that 25-second penalty either. So you know, I'd be probably side of caution here if I was Bartlett, and just let Sang through.
Maybe just doesn't want to let Sang through, because if he does that, then he invites Lucas Keys up into his grill. I don't know how far off Lucas Keys. Yeah, Lucas Keys just there in the background as well. So I reckon he maybe just wants to keep Sang behind him as a bit of a buffer there to Lucas Keys, who doesn't have a penalty. So if he thinks he's trying to hold on to P5, to do so, he wants to keep that car between him and Keys, who's coming up very quickly.
Yeah, good observation there, JC, as always.
They got the front. Carlos going a little bit wide there. I reckon Ricciuti also followed him out, but there's a nice little grippy bit of turf out there, so nothing doing. 2 minutes and 13 to go. Cooley is about half a lap in front of all these. Oh, Sang just doing a bit of lawn mowing out there. Never mind that. As I said, Cooley is a long way in front, so it's a bit hard to tell how many laps we've got to go, but it can't be any more than 2 or 3 here. Carlos has just got to hang on for another couple of minutes, and he will be on the podium.
I tell you what, he would be one sweaty boy after this one. Sweaty man.
Yeah, I was driving around by myself most of race 2. I had Ashlyn Reynolds 10 seconds clear, and I had a 10-second gap behind me, and I was sweating. Carlos here is locked in battle to the death with Stefano Ricciuti. He would be porously dripping.
His chair may be just a lap pool at the moment. He might have to go and visit Simrigs for a new bucket seat, guys.
While he's at it, he might as well have a look at all the other products that they have. That's at Simrigs.com, who's been a brilliant sponsor for us for the Sprint Series. So, yeah, I myself have actually used Simrigs before to go get a Sim Magic wheel and base. So, and you know, I've had a really good time finally getting onto direct drive. So, highly recommend their service. But yeah, as always, thanks for Simrigs.com for sponsoring the series.
And just remember, if you're a Patreon member of OOR, mention that as well, and you'll get a further discount with the Simrigs as well. So make sure you don't forget about mentioning OOR.
Nice work, Simrigs. Long-time sponsors now. They've been going for quite a while, so it's a very good effort from them. And as you said, you get all these bloody discounts. You're nearly walking out the shop with half a bundle of gear for nothing. So good stuff from Simrigs. 2 laps to go now, we reckon. Second last lap for Cooley started a little while ago, which means that these guys have 2 laps to go. 2 laps Carlos, 2 laps Bartlett. Keys has got past Sang, he's dealt with him, and now he's up behind Bartlett. So we really do have 2 proper ding-dong battles to go with 2 laps to go.
We've got Benny V cheering on Stefano out there on track.
Well, you kind of just have to. You don't know where to look. There's battles everywhere. There's battles for 3rd place. There's battles for 5th. There's battles for 5th place. Right now, you just don't know where to look. Sang is defending all his might that he can. Sorry, Lucas Keys has already gotten past. No, Lucas Keys is right onto the back of Bartlett there, as 5th place and 3rd place is up for grabs. As we didn't even see Cooley past the start-finish line. He is first to the stripe and takes the win in race 2. So this is last lap. Here we go.
Oh,
Big move there from Keys. Big move there from Keys. He has to go around the outside. He's not going to make it easy for him, Bartlett. Bartlett up the inside. But here he comes for the switchback and blocks it out. And I think Bartlett has got this. They're going to come side by side to the stripe. And it is Bartlett who takes P5. Brilliant finish. And brilliant finish too for Johnson. P3 in silver class. That is an excellent drive. He's had so much pressure from all the pro drivers and just did not buckle.
He did not, and probably will go down as pretty much as one of the favourites for probably the drive of the day, Carl Johnson, for his heroics defending that he did do. But let's not forget about Chris Cooley. He was a man that just set the lap records tumbling there in P1. So well done to Cooley in that Aston Martin.
I want to know where Macaulay started. He'd be close to driver of the day if he was at the back.
Yeah,
it was 22. Okay. All right. Well, it's a good race to get up to 17, but not quite driver of the day. If he came from the back, I'd be considering that. But no, it's a little 5-position gain. That's not too bad. And obviously, a couple of penalties in front of him too, so he'll probably move up a few more. What's this we got here? This will be race 1. I would suggest Lucas Keys taking that one very comfortably. 3.5 seconds up the road from Shady Samuel and Sang. In silver class for race 1, it was Ison, Bushell and Johnson. Pro-Am class in race 1 was Chalmers, Graham and Viney. And the Am class was led by old man Stu Matthews with Hootma and Zenzen behind them. So it's Jensen. And then in race 2, it was Cooley by a long margin. He got out in front and he never looked back with Senekis behind him and Carlos up on the podium. He'll be enjoying that. Ricciuti was 3rd in the pro class. For silver class, it was Carlos Johnson up the front with Real P2 and Ison P3. Pro-Ams were led by Angelo Gonzalez with Macaulay coming in P2 for that one. Nice work. And Chalmers on the podium for Pro-Am. And AM was Hootama with Old Man P2 and Jensen P3. That was a cracking way to end the Oceanic Sprint Series for round 1. I'm very happy with that. The organisers have put on the 20 and the 40 with the reverse grid, and it's just come off a treat for us, fellas.
Oh, I love that format. I think that just brought, without the mandatory stops or anything like that, I think, we saw some great action and split red, the boiling blood. definitely came to the fore. I think here later on tonight, here on this Anzac Day. Hope everyone enjoyed it.
Yeah, well, I had an absolute ball calling those two races there. It was absolutely amazing to see battles up and down the field. As I said, I was a late call-in for this race, but I'm glad I took up that offer. Yeah, could not have asked for a better two races, to be honest.
Did we save the best for last? Like last night was entertaining. I watched both of those races. Both splits last night. They were pretty good. And I had a lot of fun while racing, but I don't really know what was going on at the front with Split Blue. But I think we saved the best for last. That was great. And if that's what we've got to look forward to for the rest of the season, obviously we're off to Misano next week. Let's see, if that's what we've got to look forward to, we're in for a treat.
We sure are, JC. And the obligatory here donuts by Mike Reel. So I can confirm he was in that Nissan. I think it was last season, because I remember the Nissan doing the burnouts after every round here of Split Red. So showing his handiwork there.
Benjamin Hignett getting some love from his camera work today too, and that's well founded. I thought he was very, very on point. A couple of very nice battles that he found immediately. Very sharp on the replays. Very good work from you, Mr. Hignett. Nice work in the background.
Yeah, exactly. And Dan Busters nailed it right with that right comment there. Macca gets the award. We're talking about Macca Macaulay. Gets the fastest Rubik's Cube. So I think he's that livery that looked like a Rubik's Cube, I guess.
Righto, that's it. I think we probably sign off, don't we? As I said, we got I don't think there's a European split, so don't stay up too late for that one. I think that's usually at 4 a.m, but I don't think that's going ahead. The North American split tomorrow morning, Friday, around about 10 a.m, your Australian Eastern Time. So that'll be fun. We'll watch a bit more Brands Hatch with the North American fellas, and then we are off to Misano next week, Wednesday, as per usual. That'll be just about it. Yeah, I'm looking forward to you. We'll have you back next week, Neil, for Split Red, and I think we've got Sean Muller, hopefully, coming back. As we said before, we wish him all the best. Hope he's well. Daniel, very good call from you. Very, very nice joining you for the first time. I had a very good time with you. Very, very, very impressive.
Oh, thank you very much, JC. I always try and put up my hand to commentate these races, and yeah, I don't know. I just feel like it's always something I've wanted to do with even with OOR or with any kind of series, to be honest. So yeah, and it was an absolute pleasure to share the comment box with you two very fine gentlemen.
Nice work, Neil. Nice work, Daniel. Don't forget about the Formula One series hosted by Alexis Bowen on Sunday. So that'll be the first one we go to, and then obviously to Misano next week. That's it. Signing off. Thank you, chat. Love you. Ciao.